What is up, fight fans? We are live. It's UFC Fight Night live on MMA Weekly. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Got my man Jeff Cain here with me on your Saturday night. Hope you're having a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen, as we say goodbye to July and usher in the month of August, a big-time pay-per-view with the Interim Heavyweight Championship on the line coming up next week. But first, we have UFC Fight Night, Hall versus Strickland, Uriah Primetime Hall, and Sean Tarzan Strickland at 185 pounds. Number 8 and number 11, Jeff, the main event. The main card is underway right now with Ryan Barbarina, a guy I know really well, from Arizona, taking on Jason Witt. And it's not the biggest fight card, Jeff. We got the pay-per-view next week, but the UFC keeps rocking on from the Apex in Vegas tonight. And the storyline with this card, Jeff, this is a pretty good fight in the main event, but fights have been dropping off like crazy. And really, just in the last 24 hours, we lost 3 of them.
Yeah, and there was visa issues that, kept this fight card from being put together as it was originally planned in the beginning. This fight card's been plagued with visa issues, people missing weight. Not only did we lose 3 fights, we had 2 fighters miss weight, 1 fighter not even weigh in, and like you mentioned, we had 3 fights drop off the fight card, and significant ones. The co-main event and the main event on the preliminary card were 2 of the 3 that got dropped. Crazy. But yeah, man, it is what it is. This isn't the greatest fight card. The biggest fight in mixed martial arts happening tonight is happening in California in the Bellator main event between, the featherweight championship and the featherweight Grand Prix finals over there between Patricio Pitbull and AJ McKee. But we are here tonight. It is a big middleweight matchup. But yeah, man, fights all over the damn place tonight, Jim. You got Showtime, you got ESPN, and you got us on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. You got Showtime, ESPN, us on YouTube. And right here, while Jeff is saying that, and while we're here on YouTube, being a big family like we are, we love you guys, we appreciate you. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like, ring the bell, so that you know every single time we go live and you won't miss it here on MMA Weekly, the most trusted source in news and entertainment in mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. But yeah, it's crazy. The co-main event was scrapped, Jeff, and obviously that was a big fight. Obviously, they're heavyweights. Shamil Abdurakhimov and Chris Dawkins were supposed, and I love watching Dawkins fight, the former Philly cop. So I'm always a little disappointed when we don't get to see him. Smiling Sam Alvey, not smiling tonight because Roman Kopylov had visa issues, unable to fight. Nico Montano, unable to fight. Philip Rowe, by the way, and that was a weight discrepancy. Philip Rowe weighed in at 173.5 and ended up fighting and finishing Orion Koski. But I've known Philip Rowe a long time. He's a boxer. Seen him fight in Arizona a few times. Brian Barbarina fighting right now against Jason Witt at welterweight, and a whole bunch of chances and opportunities for some fighters to make some names for themselves moving forward with this card tonight. But Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland, let's start there for a minute, and we'll talk about Pitbull and McKee as well, Jeff. But Uriah Hall from New York, on the way up, he lost a couple of fights before his UFC days. He lost to Chris Weidman and Kostas Philippou, a couple of guys but Uriah Hall then lost to Kelvin Gastelum, split decision in the Ultimate Fighter finale. But he's been a pretty solid UFC fighter. Now, he had a 3-fight losing streak to a couple of guys named Robert Whittaker, Derek Brunson, and Gegard Mousasi, who you already mentioned here on the show. No shame in losing to any of those guys, and he's lost to Paulo Costa. So other than that, he hasn't lost since Rafael Natal all the way back in 2015. But Whittaker, Brunson, Mousasi, and Costa, that's a murderer's row, man. Those are top 10, top 5 guys he lost to. All top 5 at one point, as a matter of fact. And Paulo Costa fought for the title. Mousasi's been a legend in the sport. Whittaker's been a champion. But other than that, he's had a lot of impressive wins. And the last 2 on his resume, back-to-back, like Drake would say, Silva and Weidman. Anytime you have back-to-back wins over Silva and Weidman, regardless of when they came in your career, you're doing something right. And, of course, the Weidman fight was the one where, and the Silva fight was Silva's retirement fight, and the Weidman fight was the one where Weidman snapped his leg in half on a checked kick by Uriah Hall.
Yeah, look, Uriah's been in there with the who's who. And he was on The Ultimate Fighter, had that highlight reel knockout, still played to this day. and he made it to the finals.
The
He's
head
been in there
kick.
with the who's who. Yeah, he's been in there with the who's who of the division. I mean, as far as experience goes, he definitely has that over Strickland, 100%. That's probably one of his biggest assets heading into tonight's fight. It's a main event. It's Strickland's first main event. Uriah Hall's been in big fights. He's been here before, and he's been in there, as you mentioned, with the best in the world. Now, has he, did he lose to those guys? Yeah, man. But he was competitive in those fights, and some of them he was looking extremely well in at points. So, this is going to be an interesting main event, man. But yeah, getting back to the people dropping off the car, we had the co-main event. Ronnie Yahya he tested positive for COVID. That was literally hours before the event tonight that got canceled. And then Nico weighed in 7 pounds. She's had a history of missing weight and having weight cutting issues, and she missed weight by 7 pounds, and they scrapped that fight due to the weight discrepancy. And then I guess at the weigh-ins, we had a fighter, Jones, who wasn't medically cleared, couldn't make weight. He never made it to the scale. That I do know.
Jeez, and it's becoming increasingly more and more difficult with COVID, and COVID is rampant again with the Delta variant. Amanda Nunes tested positive, Jeff, and she is off the fight card next week. UFC 265 will not have its co-main event, or it will have a co-main event, it just won't be that one, as Amanda's title defense against Juliana Pena will be pushed back to a later date. I haven't seen if they've put a new date on. I doubt they did. But now Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz is the co-main event. You still have Chiesa and Luque, Casey Kenny and Song Yadong. That's a very strong fight card. Lost a lot of firepower with the Nunes-Pena fight being pulled, but Luis Ngan for the interim heavyweight title as the main event. And then, like I said, Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz, that should be a war. And then Chiesa and Luque, I can't wait for that fight. So still a pretty good fight card next week for the pay-per-view, but no Amanda Nunes testing positive for COVID.
Nope, no 2 title fights. Well, now that the co-main event title fight is off, they should just kill that interim title and just have those 2 fight for the number 1 contender slot or whatever. That's just me, man. I think they're doing that interim heavyweight title a little too soon. And now, and I feel like it is my opinion, you can crucify me in the chat, but I feel like it was because they had to put it above a title fight in the Nunes fight. So now that fight's not there, I think they can pull it. We have somebody at the podium, Jim. I'm hearing some from Vegas.
All right. I'm hearing the podium, but I'm seeing video of a weigh-in. So if you can hear me, Scott, I don't know who's at the podium, and I don't know what we're seeing here, but we've got someone at the podium right now, and I'm guessing it would probably be Chris Grussmacher because he just beat Ava Garcia. But I'm hearing the volume from the podium, but seeing video of the weigh-ins. If you guys can hear me on site, Scott.
A little.
All right.
Got the graphic and audio guy not in sync.
Let's just listen to the podium, Jeff, and then we'll hope we get that picture fixed.
Everyone reacts different. I didn't have any expectation of him being super tough. I didn't have any expectation for him to be, I didn't expect him to fall, but, I didn't necessarily know if he was going to stand. It's one of those things I find out as you guys found out.
Yeah. Would you say the big difference in this was your cardio, the ability to push the pace, even through that 3rd round, you were able to keep coming at him,
Well, I want to say yeah, but I'm going to get with my team and talk about it, but I wasn't really trying to throw a whole lot in the 1st round. I mean, I didn't see it, that's why I hit the ground, but I came in shape and I just didn't see the punch. It came quick, and again, it's the beginning of the fight. I don't know how he's moving, and he caught me. But when my butt hit the ground, I was there. And, but he was throwing, and again, people kind of say I take damage, but I know how to roll. My head doesn't hurt. I've never had a concussion. I've had, this is fighting, but I've never had a concussion, and he tired himself out. And so I was kind of reading. I was just waiting to read. I think if there was a discrepancy between us is experience and skill set. What makes me move forward really easy is that I'm economic with my movements. I'm economic with my energy. And I trained hard, and I do come in shape, man. There's some things that maybe, again, I get with my team, some things maybe in our conditioning I can be stronger at in different areas. But, I was ready to go. We could have gone another 2 rounds, and I'd have been fine.
Are you able to make that read as is there a moment where you go, oh, this guy thinks I'm more hurt than I am? So can you think to yourself, I'll let him fire away and tire himself out, or do you just roll with it?
No. What he does, I'm just reading. I don't know what he's thinking. I can't read his mind. I just read his actions, and then I hear his breathing and looked at his body. I'm reading body language. Somewhere in the middle of I hit the ground. But I think it's fair enough to say, and I haven't watched it, but as far as I can see in the fight, from what I remember, somewhere about the end of the first round, I took control. It might have been 1 minute, it might have been 2 minutes, but somewhere at the end, the tides changed. It looked like he might have been finishing me, and then at the end, man, it looked like he was on his horse, running backwards, getting beat up. So, I just watched him. I just knew by the end of the first half, I'd got him tired, and I started working.
And a great right uppercuts as well throughout. Like the uppercut was a good shot for you. When I'm sure you need to sort of take a little time to heal off, but when would you like to get back in there?
It is July 31st. August, September, October, maybe end of October, beginning of November. Let's say like November, end of October, mid-November. I don't honestly, maybe right before Thanksgiving. I wouldn't mind even waiting until December, to be honest, just depending on what I decide with my team. Because the reality of this is, if this was just about fighting, we do it every weekend, but it's about making money. And, I want to make sure I put on the best performance to give myself the most opportunity. So, I would say at the earliest, end of October, and as late as December. I definitely want one more fight before the year ends. So somewhere between end of October, just before the new year.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Chris?
Oh, my bad.
I saw you limping up there. Is your leg okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. He kicked me a couple of times in my calf, and it hurts.
Would you say that this was a really good bounce back performance from your last performance?
Well, yeah, obviously. But man, we're not trying to make excuses, but like, I tore my knee in 2018, and then tore my ACL, beginning of 2019. Then epidemic happened. I moved to 3 different states. I went broke. Literally had nobody. I didn't train with anybody last fight. I didn't train anybody. I didn't train with anybody. I didn't have a strength and conditioning coach. I literally did it all myself, and I can add all the other negative stuff, but I think that's enough. I would say this is not just a comeback win, but man, it's like everything outside of the fighting too is a comeback for me. Like, my whole life is in a better spot before this fight. I had 3, on paper maybe I didn't have the most, but I had enough, man. I had quality. And today's performance, I literally had 1 training partner, 1 strength and conditioning coach, and just had some really supportive and positive people around me, and that made all the difference.
You kind of touched on it, but your lack of activity. Is that frustrating that you've only fought a handful of times since you've been in the UFC? Absolutely.
Yeah, and life isn't fair, man. It really isn't. Life isn't fair, and I've learned, life. I learned some life lessons, man. You got to watch what comes out of your mouth, and you can kind of delay some things for you with saying the wrong stuff, and I think really the turnaround for this one is I started saying the right things and being very patient and not getting frustrated and not getting angry. I've had some bad things happen, unfair stuff, and then made things worse by kind of having a crap attitude. And, I don't want to dwell on the past, but man, it has been frustrating, man, because I feel like I could have done more, I could have been further, I could have, should have, would have, and so I don't like that. And I'm just really happy and kind of really grateful for the experience that I just had. Like, the whole camp. This whole camp has been something brand new I've never experienced in my fight career, and just grateful, really grateful.
Do you have an opponent that you would like to fight next?
I got nobody in mind. Whoever's gonna push my career along, man. Whatever I can do to make the next jump, to do something good. I'm looking for the next positive step, whatever that is. So, really it's really not to me. It's not who, it's when that's most important to me. Because whoever they put in front of me, I'm probably just gonna say yes. I'm just gonna say, all right. When are we doing this? No. The time frame's not right. When are we gonna do this? All right, go ahead. Whoever. Let's do it.
And finally, your hair looks fantastic again. Are you planning on donating again your caveman hair?
If I grow it out long enough, maybe. I've been doing this thing with the side, where I trim it on the side. So I don't know, man. I would love to, though. I don't. You know, it was a cool thing to do then. You know, I just haven't grown my hair out long enough to you got to donate like 12 inches, man. So I had 12 inches to give, you know. So I'd go back to a normal short haircut if I cut my hair. So I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Chris, you know, MMA people look at this sport as pretty much like a individual sport, just one man against one man, and that's kind of like why we love it, so pure. But can you touch on, you know, going through your hard time, and you know, people don't realize that there's a lot of people behind the man in the cage.
Well, it's not an individual sport. It's an individual performance. It is absolutely a team sport. You know, two can do more than one, and that's just true in every aspect of life. Two can do more than one. So if you're trying to be one person out there, and regardless of what you're a part of, you're not going as far as somebody who's got one or two or three, you know, people who are working in agreement. And for sure, man, I had 3 people who we agreed and we planned out this work. And even though I'm the one that did the performance, man, I had 3 people behind me with me the whole way. And so absolutely, it's an individual performance, but this without a doubt, this is a team sport.
And it sounds like you had a good support network behind you besides just your team.
Yeah, I was kind of adopted. Grandma Ann, I don't know if you're watching this, but I love you. You know, I did, man. I was bouncing around, having a hard place to find, and a family took me in, and I had a place I got to call home, a place I could make sure I had, you know, I could sit down, and I just got to be myself. I got to be at home. I was loved. I was cared, and I was asked about, hey, how are you doing today? What are you doing? You know, people cared about where I was going, and when I went to sleep, man, I knew I was in a safe place. You know, I didn't have to worry about whether my stuff was going to be there or whether I was allowed to come in the next day, or, you know, like, so absolutely, man, outside of the team that I had, my living situation was a lot different for this camp.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chris Grutzemacher at the podium. Jeff, in Vegas, a good win tonight over Rafa Garcia by unanimous decision, talking very openly and very candidly about struggles that he's been through mentally, about some things that he said, and running his mouth and having some regrets for not having as many fights, and just a really refreshingly open, honest, candid. I mean, nice job, Chris, at the podium. That's how you do it, all you fighters watching out there. That's how you do it. You know, you take it on the chin sometimes in life, but you come back, you accept responsibility, you don't dwell on it, but you move past it, you don't duck it, you don't dodge it. Very, very impressed with Chris right there on the podium.
Yeah, it's a big win tonight. He needed the win, you know, and I think that it, you know, you caught that in his post-fight comments. He was not in a good place before this fight, but yeah, man, it's good to see him with the win. Maybe he can get that hair grown back out. I've actually donated mine 3 different times, and he's right. You got to give at least 12 inches of it, a foot. So you got to grow it out real long, or you're going to end up having short hair when you donate it. So hopefully he gets that taken care of.
Yeah, I hope so, man. And very open and honest, like I said, but a very good performance too, and a very tough kid. I mean, a good prospect in the UFC for a little bit of time now, and you know, he just won me over. I'll tell you that. If I'm a fan watching that, I have to be impressed. And you guys, we're all fans, but let us know what you think in the chat. I mean, you always like it when fighters are open and honest. Meanwhile, Jeff, a majority decision victory for Jason Witt over Brian Barbarina. So Jason Witt picking up the victory, the Vanilla Gorilla, with a great nickname and a terrific performance. And Brian Barbarina came on late. This fight was a scrap. There were takedowns, grappling, a lot of, you know, up close against the cage, and a lot of big shots landed by both fighters. That was a war for 3 rounds, and a big win for Jason Witt over Brian Barbarina.
Yeah, it was definitely a war. I saw somebody got dropped. I couldn't tell who it was because I wasn't watching that close. But, yeah, back and forth action on the ground, on the feet. Those guys definitely threw down. They knew they were in a fight tonight. That was a good fight to kick off the main card, to set the tone of the night, you know. A good back and forth war. And you said it was a majority draw for Witt.
Yep, one of the judges had it 28-28, and then the 2 judges who scored it for Witt had it 29-27 and 29-28. So there it is right there. But a good performance by Witt in the octagon, being interviewed right now by Paul Felder. That one kicks off the main card. Jeff Cain coming up next. And good luck on this one. Colin Anglin against Bagdasarian. Bagdasarian is my best guess. I'm going to have to wait until Joe reads it because Buffer's not there. But Bagdasarian, what do you say? You think that's right?
Sure. I have no idea if that's right or not. So we'll just call it. Right? They should have like the phonetic pronunciation. Yeah, they should have the phonetic pronunciation on like Wikipedia or something, right? For some of these fighters, for sure.
I asked Goldie one time because Mike Goldberg. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
No, I said they should do it for all of them, just because Wikipedia is an international website, and I'm sure that sometimes like Jeff or Jim might be odd to somebody in a different country.
Well, we're both odd to a lot of people everywhere, I think. No doubt about it, man. Good job by Scott Peterson on site with that question, asking him about the team behind him, because oftentimes in life when we're struggling and we're down and out, and trust me, I know, last year I was one of them, went through a very tough year last year, and being a part of this team and the people around me, there's definitely a lot to that, but even more so when you're a fighter. I mean, you are literally training with these people every day. You're living with them a lot of times. You're in the gym. You're one big family. And I can't tell you how many times, Jeff, I've seen it in my career where the people around a fighter lift him or her up in the worst of times, whether it's personally going through some shit in their personal life, whether it's a crushing loss, things not going right in their career, but definitely those greatness and people around the fighters make all the difference in the world. You're watching us live on MMA Weekly. Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when we're going live. Get going in the chat. We have Isaac. I want to give a shout out to my man, Isaac Jamerson. He's a super chatter, if there ever was a super chatter in the house tonight. We got some of our old school and day ones in there with us tonight, Jeff. And not the biggest fight card, but with the UFC, when it's not a big fight card, quote unquote, on paper, that's when we tend to see some of the best fights. And I think Hall and Strickland tonight, I mean, I love Strickland, the way that he talks to his opponents in the octagon during the fight. Like, come on, man, let's give him a show. I know you can hit me harder than that. Man, you hit like a truck, bro. He's talking the whole time through that fight, and his style is very, very violent. And we know Uriah Hall is capable of that kind of violence as well. So potentially, and 5 rounds in the main event, potentially an absolute war, maybe even a bloodbath in there tonight.
I mean, potentially. They all have that potential. I just think that Strickland stands in front of you too much. I think Hall's gonna have his way with him in the striking exchanges, because Strickland keeps his hand down and stands in front of you. And when you're talking, you're not fighting. So that's how I feel like the main event's gonna go. But who knows? That's why we have the fights. Is nobody knows until they go down. But yeah, man, that's the big fight tonight. That's the one between ranked fighters, the one that's going to have the most implications in any division, on the fight card. Number 8, number 11 doesn't have a ton of implications, but it does have a little. It does have a little, particularly for Strickland. If Strickland can win, then he jumps from 11 into the top 10, possibly in the top 7. And then for Hall, it extends the win streak and maybe moves him up a spot or two. But yeah, it's going to be a fun fight because of the stylistic matchup. There's no question it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, and then, of course, you got some big ones coming up. And in 2 weeks from next week, we don't have a fight card on the 14th of August. You and I have a night off, Jeff. Maybe you can go to another Billy Strings concert and take some more photos with the wife in the Red Rocks or whatever. That was a beautiful pic, by the way. Fun times for the Canes. But you got Cannonier and Gastelum coming up on August 21st. And the reason I bring that up now, as I look at the rankings, because Kelvin's ranked number 9, Uriah Hall's ranked number 8. So, in theory, a Strickland win tonight could move him ahead of Gastelum. But the UFC wouldn't want Kelvin to fall too far before the Cannonier fight, although a win over Cannonier would vault him probably back into the top 5. And it's been a tough road most of the way for Kelvin Gastelum these last couple of years. But, I know one thing about KG. He's resilient. He's tough. Cannonier's a beast. He's coming off a loss also. So a chance for each guy to redeem themselves. And then when we talk about the pay-per-view next week, you said earlier that is it's too soon for it to be an interim title fight, which of course I agree with, and most people do. And Ngannou's management's been going back and forth. People are upset about it, and I don't blame them. Stipe's pissed off talking about going to ONE FC because he feels like DC got an automatic rematch and he didn't, which is completely valid, because I definitely feel like for a guy who's I mean, I don't want to say the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, but the most wins in title defenses in those fights. I feel like he's been pissed on quite a bit, honestly speaking. I feel like Stipe, if he were anybody else, not anybody else, but certain other people, have a rematch, definitely have gotten, talking about a guy who title, and they had Brock Lesnar pretty much trampling on him on the way into the octagon to get at DC to promote a fight that never happened, instead of giving a great all-time champion the opportunity to take the microphone and talk to his fans. So disrespected, to say the least. I feel like that's been the career path of Stipe, but Francis is pissed, Stipe's pissed, but it doesn't matter. We have Lewis and Gane for the interim title. Gane's undefeated, and let me just explain to you guys why this is a title fight. There's only one reason why this is a title fight, and even more so now, even more important, Jeff, with Nunes and Pena off the card. Amanda, in case you've been living on Mars and you went on Elon's trip or Bezos' spaceship or wherever you've been, that fight is off the card. Amanda Nunes tests positive for COVID, so the reason that Lewis and Gane is a title fight to begin with is because it's the main event in Houston. It's because Derek Lewis lives in Houston. It's because Houston stepped up for the UFC to be the first fight back with fans. They're doing him a favor by giving him a heavyweight title fight in the main event. That's the only reason. The only reason is because it's in Houston. It's Derek Lewis. It's a huge fight card. They had to have a title belt on the line in that one. And to me, sometimes that's all it takes, and that's why they did it.
But I think that they did it because Amanda Nunes was a title fight. And so you can't have Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane headline a fight card over a title fight. And so the quick remedy,
right,
interim title fight. Now that Amanda's off and that fight's off there, I think they should pull the interim title fight. Keep the fight, keep it a 5-round fight, call it whatever the hell you want, but it's not a title fight. I don't like the interim title, especially this soon. Stipe is right. You know, Daniel Cormier got an immediate rematch. You know, Dana White's talking Conor McGregor's going to heal up and somewhere down the line is going to get an immediate rematch with Poirier, a guy that he's lost back-to-back to. You know, and here's
you
Stipe.
know what? Awful.
Here's Stipe.
Yep, sorry, Jeff.
1-1. Well, Stipe's 1-1 with Francis, right? It's perfect time for a trilogy fight, but nope, it doesn't happen because I don't know why. You know, it's the inner workings. You know, Stipe's position is, you know, he's not treated like other fighters. He's certainly not treated like a champion, and definitely not treated like the greatest heavyweight champion. You know, so I agree with Stipe. I don't like the interim title fight, but you can't blame Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane for that. That fell in their lap, so they're happy as hell, right? Just that Stipe is not happy, Francis is not happy, and there's a lot of fans that aren't happy. We're all going to tune in and watch the fight anyway. It's a great matchup, whether there's a belt on the line or not. But I really felt like the reason why they made that an interim title fight is all the reasons you said, and also it justified putting that fight as the main event over the women.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, for sure. And then when I look at Stipe, his position is, how can I not be, this is him speaking, not me, how can I not be in the interim title fight instead of Cyril Gane? And when you look at, you know, Stipe's argument, he's got a really good argument. Without a doubt, he's got a big-time argument there, but you know, it is what it is, and Cyril Gane is definitely a huge prospect and on his way toward a title opportunity one way or the other. I'm not sure this is the way that I would want to do it. And look, wins over JDS, Junior Dos Santos, Jairzinho Rosenstrike, and Alexander Volkov, to me that doesn't make you a title contender, but I mean, what do I know, Jeff? What do I know? But I am excited for that fight, and I am excited to see Derek Lewis take that walk last in his home city in Houston. They're going to be going crazy, just as I am here in Phoenix when Bellator comes here in October with Ryan Bader and Corey Anderson. Bader getting a hometown fight in Phoenix. And speaking of news, Jeff, right now we're getting ready for the next bout on the card, and they're taking their sweet time on this fight card right now. It's been a long time since the last fight ended, but you've got Melsick, I'm going to say Bogdasarian, and Colin Anglin at featherweight coming up here in just a second. But in the news this week, a couple of big-time fights announced. And it happens sitting literally pining for the rematch between Kamaru Usman, who I think is the best fighter in the world right now, and Colby Covington, who might be number 2. Cannot wait for that matchup. And then also, finally, Jeff Cain, finally, The Rock. No, we have Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. Those fights are going to be in November, UFC 268. They're aiming for New York City. Who knows where it's going to be, but we finally have Usman Covington too. We finally have Gaethje Chandler. I'm a happy guy, Jeff.
No, I mean, yeah, we knew that the welterweight fight, the Usman and Colby, was going to end up happening eventually. It was just a matter of when Usman was going to be ready to get back in there. I don't think Colby's the number 2 fighter in the world. I don't know if he's number 22. But Usman may be the best fighter in the world. I'll give him that. You know, and then
Right
like
now.
you said, the lightweight match, that's the ones that we're talking about. I mean, you know, that's the fight that everybody was talking about. That's the one everybody wanted to see, right? Gaethje Chandler. That's the damn you know, that's the one, that's the fight you kind of wanted to see for the lightweight title. I mean, you know, that's the fight that a lot of people, with Gaethje was sitting there at number 2. And with Poirier number 1 fighting Conor, a lot of people felt like that could have been a title fight. Talk about an interim title fight. They could have done that there. But yeah, that's a fun fight, man. Everybody wants to see that fight. There's not a person in the world that doesn't want to see Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler throw down in the octagon. Not a person in the world. And there's not anybody really out there that doesn't want to see the Colby and the Usman rematch either. So the UFC matchmakers hit it out of the park with those 2 matchups. We knew one was coming. The other one we just kind of really hoped for, and the MMA gods smiled on us and gave it to us. Or right now, at least, they've signed the damn thing. We'll see if they make it to the cage.
Man, and I will say this. I won't say Colby's number 2 in the world. I'd say Kamaru's number 1. The win streak, he's got 1 loss in his career. He's been decimating everything and everyone in his path. The one knock on Kamaru was that he wasn't finishing guys. What he's done to Gilbert Burns, what he's done to Jorge Masvidal in his last 2 fights, violence personified. So he shut everybody up, including me, by the way, about his inability, quote unquote, at the time. It's funny how we throw words around like that when we're not fighters. Speaking again of myself, but his inability to put guys away in his previous fights, which is very tough to do. He laid all that to rest when he put Burns down and he put Masvidal down. Covington really pushed him. If not for the fake groin shots that were literally 8 inches away from the groin, that fight could have been over much earlier than it was. Could have, should have, would have. But man, I'm really excited for that one, and I can't wait for Gaethje and Chandler. We get them on the same night in November. You don't think what for Colby? No. You mean?
Yeah, I don't think that Colby. I mean, if that was a close fight, then man, hell, I don't know. I guess they're all close. He got finished. And,
that fight was very close too. The judges had Colby winning.
Yeah, not the one that woke him up.
No, so that's true.
It's but yeah, you know, people could say, oh, the nut strike, and if they haven't been hitting the cup, man, then I don't think their opinion's really valid on it. But that, you know, they don't bring up the eye poke. You know, they don't.
I've been hitting the cup.
That was definitely the eye poke was definitely real and bad. You know, and so it is what it is. You know, they're going to rematch right now. Usman's been fighting actively. Colby's been talking actively, and I think that's how that fight's going to go. You know, it's because Colby's been a while since Colby's been in there, and then then the Colby's wins. You start looking at him, and you're like, man, I mean, I kind of sometimes scratch my head at how he's number 2 or number 1 in the division, but then I realize a shit ton of fights have happened, and there's been a lot of blocks moved around. You know, I don't know that Colby fought his way up to that spot. I think that a lot of people lost.
Yeah, well, he's been in that spot. He hasn't moved down. Colby's never moved down. You know, I mean, Kamaru's beaten everybody else. Burns passed him. He beat Burns. Then he beat Masvidal. So playing the waiting game definitely paid off for Colby in this case because he gets the title rematch. And he's done it.
Look, I agree.
He created this character trying to go the Conor McGregor route, which, by the way, I have something to say about him in just a second. But Colby's loss to Kamaru Usman was his first one since December of 2015 to Warlley Alves. But he put together a great win streak with wins over guys like Damian Maia, Rafael Dos Anjos, and Robbie Lawler. And then, of course, he beat Tyron Woodley by TKO with a rib injury in September of last year. So you're right. A lot of blocks got moved around him. He benefits from that. But I'm pretty excited to see this fight. Meanwhile, and I want to get back to this in a minute, but I have to say something while it's on my mind. I don't want to forget. And Anglin and Bagdasarian going at it in the octagon right now. But I'm always the one who defends him. I'm always the one who has Conor McGregor's back. Not that he needs me to. I'm always the one who says, Conor, you know, he's talking up, he's promoting fights. Your wife is in me DMs, all these things. And he crossed the line for sure. But what Conor McGregor tweeted and deleted earlier this week about Khabib's father is one of the most ridiculous, awful, insensitive, disgusting. Slap an old man in a bar, disgusting. Smash a cell phone out of someone's hands and destroy it on the ground, disgusting. This is worse. Khabib had tweeted, Good always beats evil. Congratulations, Dustin Poirier. Conor's response, so COVID is good and father was evil? Question mark. His father died of COVID. That is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. And I think the enabling of Conor McGregor has to stop. And you know, I like what Kevin wrote on Yahoo. Kevin Iole. Is it Iole or Iole? I always forget, but he's a legendary writer.
Iole.
Was the boxing writer for the Vegas Review Journal for decades. He's a great writer. He nailed it. People around Conor McGregor need to stop enabling him, and someone needs to tell this guy the truth. His coach is enabling him. We had him right where we wanted going into the second round. Yeah, okay, I got some beachfront land in Nebraska for you, John Kavanaugh. Everyone is enabling Conor McGregor because of the money he brings, because of the attention and the spotlight that he puts the sport in. But, Jeff, enough is enough with this shit. This has to stop. Something has to be done. And to me, if that were an NFL player who said that or an NBA player who said that, they would have the shit fined out of him. They would be suspended. I understand he's the cash cow, and they're still talking about him coming back and getting Poirier again or Diaz again. The money fights are still there. But someone needs to grab Conor McGregor and make him understand that he is going to blow every single thing he's worked so hard for if he doesn't shut the fuck up.
I mean, I think it's been that way for a while. You know, it's just that we all looked the other way. We kept looking the other way. We kept looking the other way. And now you can't look the other way. You know, he attacked Poirier's 5-year-old daughter. You know, he's attacked Khabib's religion. He attacked Khabib's wife. He has attacked Khabib's dad before he passed away. Now he's attacked him now that he's passed away. He threw a goddamn dolly at a bus, flew across the Atlantic Ocean to do it because his buddy got disrespected. It's just so fucking stupid. And you know, the people around Conor remind me of those people that told Elvis, like in his last fucking days, that you look good in that suit, Elvis. No, you don't. You're a fat slob and getting ready to die. You know, but they still told him that. And so
stop eating fried peanut butter and banana, Elvis, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you crazy. Yeah, you know, and so but Conor has surrounded himself with those people on purpose. That's what he wants to hear. You know, it's like you know, the narcissists don't read, negative comments, you know, and then that goes for Mussolini didn't, and this is not deed for deed. I'm just talking about people who have narcissistic personality disorder, you know, cannot accept it. They cannot accept it. You know, Hitler was one. He refused to have any of the news stories. The last president refused to have any of the news stories that were negative read about him. Conor McGregor's the same way. He puts himself, people around him that say, yes, man. Yes, Conor, you look great. Yes, Conor, you're the baddest man on the planet. Yes, Conor, you can kill anybody. Yes, Conor, yes, Conor, yes, Conor, yes, Conor. And in reality, Conor has fallen so far from the podium. It's not even funny.
Whoa, did you see that? Jeff,
knockout.
Did you see this head kick?
He got hit.
Holy mother of God, what a head kick. Whoa.
It just, boom.
I mean, that just caused a flat out, I mean, I don't even want to say what I was going to say because it's insensitive, but it was about my reaction. What an unbelievable head. This is one of the greatest head kicks I've ever seen land in a UFC fight. Wow. Unbelievable. Bogdasarian.
Poor defense.
Just
poor defense.
Boom, right underneath the ear in the perfect placement, just wrapping that foot right around the entire side of the neck and lower head of his opponent in Colin Anglin. And Colin Anglin goes to sleep. And he followed up with a big shot, too, when he was on the ground. And, you know, he didn't need to take that shot. Who's reffing this fight? Because he needs to be in the way of that. He did not need to take that extra big shot on the ground like Hendo hit Bisping with, for example. And I think it's Peterson. Good thing Dominic Cruz isn't there. He'd be having a field day with this right now.
Well, I mean, dude, if you got a referee that can get to somebody between when a head kick lands and before their body hits the ground, then fucking give them a cape, because that's not a referee. That's a superhero. I don't have a problem with that. It was the, you know, he shouldn't have thrown the punch. I'll say that. You know, the punch was unwarranted. The guy was out on his feet. As soon as the leg kick happened, eyes were in the back of his head, body went limp. He crashed to the canvas. There wasn't a need for the follow-up. But the referee, I don't think, had time to get there. But, yeah, that's why we love the Mark Hunts of the world, right? They just walk off from that. There's two kinds of fighters, man. Two kinds of fighters.
O'Malley, Cody Garbrandt, yep.
Well, ones that let that it's over, right? You know, I hit you, and I know that it's over. It's over. There's no reason. And then there's other guys that live and die by, the referee keep punching until the referee stops the fight.
Derek Lewis, Dan Henderson. Yep, Lewis and Blades. Remember those couple extra shots Lewis hit Blades with?
Yeah, and I'm not saying either one of them is wrong. Look, it's some people can flip that switch real quick. Some people can't.
It's legal.
Some fights are personal. Right? Some fights are friggin' personal. And I mean, Khabib and Conor, right? That the fight, even after the damn fight, the fight's not over. And so I get it. Each situation is different. I mean, I'm not judging anybody for that, but that was definitely unwarranted. I'll say that.
I'm waiting for the replay to see if the ref could have gotten there. I think you're right. I think I jumped on the ref a little prematurely there, but
it was such a bad punch, man.
So fast,
bad punch. Yeah, no, I agree with your concern, man. I mean, there's no need for that punch. There was no need for that whatsoever. But it is what it is, man. I guess. That's why I don't fight, Jim. Right there. That's why I don't fight.
Oh, my Lord, Jeff. I'll tell you what. Unbelievable. Great performance and a win.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a head kick.
Yeah, I do enough brain damage on my own. I don't need to get kicked and punched at the same time, man.
And how about Melsik Bagdasaryan is from Armenia. He's got the American flag wrapped around him. He's trying to take Paul Felder's mic. Rule number 1 when you're interviewing fighters in the cage after a fight, before you give up that mic, because they will all try to take it. They will all try. Did you see that meme, by the way? I sent it to you and Scott, where it said nothing stops Joe Rogan from getting his post-fight interview, and he's interviewing dead Apollo Creed, and then Nicky in Casino, Joe Pesci's character, as he's being dragged in to be put in a hole. He's interviewing him. Oh, the internet's undefeated, man. I love it. But Bagdasaryan, Jeff, has finished 5 of his 6 wins, 6-1 now. That was a vicious knockout by head kick and extra punch on the ground.
And that's a bonus, man. I mean, there's no question. Here's the replay. Boom. The referee, he almost got there. The referee took a step back and was like, oh, shit. And then he tried to get to him. Like right there, he starts running, but he couldn't get there. Woo! That was a big shot, though. I agree with you, Jim. That was a big shot.
I mean, that's a walk-off, Jeff. That's a walk-off. You don't punch a guy after you hit him with that. Oh. But look at him, though, as he hits the ground. You don't know. You don't follow up on that. Oh.
No, I'm saying you might follow him over there looking to make sure that he don't quickly wake up. But I'm not seeing what he's seeing. I guess if the fighter on the ground is staring back at you, maybe you hit him one more time. I don't know, man. That's like I said. That's why I don't fight. I mean, Jesus, man, that was vicious. All of that is why I don't fight. The head kick.
He almost let him take another shot. He almost let him take another one. That's inexcusable. The ref's got to get in there.
He got in there, man. The guy just shouldn't have landed that first one. I get it though, man. I mean, the adrenaline's pumping. You know what I mean? The adrenaline's pumping, and you run over there and do that. But I don't like to see that. I mean, I agree with your concern. I never like to see a fighter take more damage than they need. I don't bitch too much about early stoppages unless it was a big fight and I just feel like it was crazy stoppage. I always like to leer on the side of safety. I'd rather you fight another day than suffer a lifelong injury, over something as ignorant as a fucking fight. That's just me though. That's just me.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, here, Jeff, in Melsik Bagdasaryan, who's a kickboxer. He had 9 wins as a professional kickboxer, just 2 losses. This was his second UFC fight. The first one, though, outside of Dana White's Contender Series. He earned a spot by beating Denis Buzukja last September 1st by unanimous decision. So he makes the most of his opportunity in the octagon tonight. And that is literally going to break the internet. That kick right there is going to be everywhere. You never know what you're going to see on a UFC fight night. That's about as high level as you're going to get with a head kick. And, for Colin Anglin trying to get that kick blocked, obviously that one connected flush and a big knockout for Bagdasaryan.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the fight. So I don't know if he set that up with leg kicks earlier because when his Colin's hand's here and he tries to reach over with his other hand to block it like it was going to be a body kick or potentially even a leg kick. And then it just came up and, oh my God, did it connect? Yeah, man, that was as clean of a head kick as you're going to see. That's just all there is to it. That's Gabriel Gonzaga Crow Cop. That's That's as clean of a head kick as you're going to get, man. Wow. Yeah, that's a bonus award, man. That's a $50,000 head kick right there.
Jeff, how about next week, man? Lewis and Gon, Aldo and Munoz, Chiesa and Luque, Tissia Torres and Angela Hill, Song Yadong and Casey Kenny, whose teammate Kyler Phillips just beat Song Yadong in Song Yadong's last fight out. Of course, Phillips lost a questionable decision last week, but that main card, even without Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena, which that would have made it an epic card, this is still one hell of a card. I mean, there is nothing at all in the world wrong with that co-main event. Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz, and Aldo looking to make a title run in his new weight class and get another title shot and then hopefully earn this one, which he didn't earn the last one against Petr Yan. But Jose Aldo, and I say that everything in the sport, but he didn't work his way up. But Aldo at number 5 and Munoz at number 9 in a just stacked bantamweight division. It seems like we're talking about this division every week because last week it was Dillashaw and Sandhagen, very close fight, and now you got Dillashaw in the rankings at number 2 when he was unranked before that fight. Sandhagen only fell to number 3. Rob Font, everyone dropped down one spot basically for TJ to move in. So from 3 on down, Sandhagen, Font, Aldo, Garbrandt, Moraes, Edgar, Munoz, Cruz, Davshvili, Asuncao, Rivera, Chito Rivera, and Cody Stammen at 15. But what a murderer's run. I mean, that division is just crazy, man. We say it all the time, but that fight, Aldo and Munoz, that Aldo has to win this one, and then maybe one more, he's right back in title contention.
Yeah, that's a solid co-main event, man. I mean, Aldo's a legend. Yeah, recently, yeah, man. I mean, he isn't the Aldo that he used to be. He's not that dominating champion that just destroyed everybody, and the leg kicks were so brutal. People just didn't even want to fight the guy. He's not that guy anymore, but he's still entertaining to watch. He's still extremely dangerous. And yeah, I think that's a fine co-main event. Who's ranked? This is terrible because I'm on the rankings, but who's ranked number 1 at bantamweight? I know that Dillashaw came in at 2. Who's number 1?
Jan.
Oh, that's right.
Jan's, and Sterling's the champ. Jan's 1, Dillashaw 2, Sandhagen, then Font. What other fights are scheduled there?
Yeah, TJ was the champion. He was stripped for the EPO. And so, I was kind of shocked that he didn't come in at number 1, but yeah, Jan's number 1 and they're fighting. Yeah. So that all makes sense.
Yeah. And what I saw from Shaw last week, you know what? A lot of times we rip on athletes for not handling things in what we think is the right way. Corey Sandhagen handled that defeat like a G. That's how you handle a defeat. He thought he won. He thought he did enough, but he even came out and said, hey, if you're scoring by damage, it was me. If you're scoring by control, it was him. I could have done more. I should have done more, and I should have won that fight. Next time, I believe I will. That is how you take an L. Props to you, Corey Sandhagen, on a great fight, number 1, and Dillashaw 2, but also for being a pro's pro, man. I was very impressed with Enter the Sandman and the way that he handled everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great feeling whenever you lose that close of a fight and then know that you could have done more. That's what he's saying. In his. I agree that he took it. He took it like a champion. But just hearing him say that, man, I know that's going to eat at him for a long time because he says it himself. I could have done more, and I felt like he absolutely could have won that fight. He absolutely could have won that fight. It was that close, where it wouldn't have taken much. You're talking about a couple of punches here, a takedown there, and he wins that fight. I don't think he dropped any because of it. I was just kind of shocked that TJ didn't come back in right at number 1. But whenever you told me he was number 1 contender, yeah, that makes perfect sense now. TJ being back though, which that's some other news that we haven't talked about yet. TJ is going to need surgery, so he's going to be out for a minute, which is unfortunate because TJ being back, man, breathed some beautiful life into the top of that division. Not that it needed it.
It really does.
I mean, holy shit. Yeah. It didn't need it.
For him to overcome that cut, Jeff, for him to overcome that cut, and I can't remember the cut man's name, and I'm doing him a disservice because, even Rob Monroe and Stitch, the cut men are so underappreciated, and they're in the background, and we don't really think or talk much about the cut men. But what the cut man was able to do with Dillashaw's eye and TJ to fight through one of the worst cuts I've ever seen. I mean, it came straight down his eyelid. It was a big chunk out of it. And then the knee injury as well. Dillashaw said if he hadn't hurt his knee that he would have finished Sandhagen. But we'll never know. I just know that TJ fought through a bad knee injury and a horrific cut to gut it out and pick up I thought, and I remember you and I said right before the decision, I wouldn't have had a problem whoever won. If Sandhagen would have won that fight and gotten the decision, I don't think you could have really argued. Dillashaw won. I don't think I could have really argued that either. That's how good and how close of a fight it was from two of the best mixed martial artists in the world, which is, sometimes we get a fight like that. And it was an absolute great fight. And I'm excited for the future of that division. Really excited to see these upcoming fights. That Aldo fight against Munoz. If Munoz wins, obviously Aldo drops out of the title fight contention, and maybe he gets a guy like Dominic Cruz. But Dillashaw is in a position now where his next fight's going to be for the belt. So we had talked about Dillashaw, if he had lost that fight, possibly facing a Cruz or an Aldo or an Edgar or somebody like that. But nope, it's going to be for a title, we think, more than likely, unless TJ's come out and said, if it's too long, I would take a fight in between. But now that he's got to heal up, and there's a long way to go for him, I think that'll be next. For Sandhagen, who knows, maybe a Rob Font. I've been wanting to see him fight Rob Font for a long time.
Yeah, Sandhagen can fight any of those guys. His stock didn't drop at all with that loss. It's just that he didn't get to become the number one contender. There's tons of matchups for him, man. I agree. Rob Font sit there, that would be nice. All of that, but yeah, what you were mentioning with the cut men, they're one of the most underappreciated people in the sport. Nobody gives a damn about the cut man unless you're the guy sitting on the stool with a cut. There's a science to it. I've interviewed Stitch a couple of times. Stitch and I used to at events used to slip out the back and smoke by the ambulance together, man, and we had some great conversations. But you'll notice for those that don't follow the sport that close, when the cut man comes in, he's not just like he's got a coagulant. He's got different things on each one of those swabs, and you'll see they'll have 3 or 4 of them in their sweatband or on their fingers, and it's really a science what they do to get the bleeding to stop, and to get that cut to where the blood doesn't come down in the eye, and to keep the swelling down. Man, cut men save fights. I mean, and they did last weekend, 100%. If there were a different, and I don't know who his cut man was, but if there was a different cut man, a less experienced cut man in there, that fight could have easily been stopped due to that cut. And the cut man saved that fight, saved TJ Dillashaw a win, got him a win because of his craft, knowing that it's his craft that well. But yeah, it's a science, man. And if anybody, there's articles out there from cut men in boxing and stuff that you can read. It's fascinating shit, what they do to get that bleeding to stop and the things that they use and have at their disposal.
Yeah, and TJ said he suffered that cut in training, but it's nasty. I mean, good Lord, that if you saw the up-close pic of TJ Dillashaw that he put up on social media, he always gets that one on his nose, but it's the one above the right eye, and it just is nasty and gross and looks like a triangle with a big chunk missing out of there. So Dillashaw with a great performance to pick up that win. And then, obviously, Jeff, the rankings at 135 adjust accordingly. I think they have it on the money. The one thing everybody's waiting to see is, will Aljamain Sterling retain the belt against Petr Yan? Yan was dominating their title fight until he threw the knee right in the head of the downed opponent, and obviously that ruined everything for him in his title run. And it would have done a lot to clear out the division, because a lot of people think Sterling doesn't belong at the top. I disagree. He earned his way there, and while he was being handled, I would say pretty easily in that fight, other than a shot that he landed early. We're going to find out when the two run it back, and that'll be later this year or early next year. But, man, we talked about UFC 268, right, Jeff? And we got another fight coming up here in a minute. The UFC taking their sweet time tonight in between fights with Jared Gordon and Nicholas Stolze coming up. But, Jeff, UFC 268 might have another fight. Now, this is not anything confirmed. I don't even know about anything official. But Gilbert Burns is going after Nate Diaz, saying he's free, he's running away. Let's fight at Madison Square Garden for 5 rounds. Loser has to pay the winner an extra $200K. Now, there's one thing I know about Gilbert Burns, is that he doesn't have anywhere near as much money as Nate Diaz has. So that is some supreme self-confidence right there to say, let's put an extra $200K. So maybe we'll see a situation like we did at 263 in Phoenix or Glendale, Arizona, where Diaz was the co-main and a 5-rounder. That's what Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler is on September 25th. Maybe Nate gets another co-main with 5 rounds and maybe an extra $200K on the line. But I will tell you this, I would love to see Burns and Nate Diaz. I think that would be a great fight.
Yeah, I don't know if $200,000, man. I don't know if he has it. I agree with you. I don't think their bank accounts match. That's not
Yeah.
Like that guy, it's like that real rich guy, that you're playing poker with, who decides to run everybody out of the damn game by keep upping the bet,
Yep.
knowing you can't afford it. God, I hate that. But yeah, look, all of that white noise aside, that's a great matchup. That's a fun matchup. Nate's going to have to win one of these fights, though. I think Nate has to be real careful in his next fight because I think he has to win it. And so, it's going to be interesting to see who he goes in there with. Maybe you don't go in there against Burns, man. I don't know. I'm not Diaz's management team, so I don't know what they're thinking and what he can do, because he can take a fight with a ton of people right now, right? I mean, you got the Masvidal fight could happen. You could wait for Conor, or you could jump back in there and fight somebody in the top 10 and stuff. But I feel like that's the most dangerous fight, because if he loses that one, it could harm the other ones.
Yeah, and it's a big-time opponent with Burns, and then money for Nate as well. And it's funny because I have to read this from the chat, okay? Esoteric Sky, which is a great name, Esoteric Sky. Jeff Cain looking sage. And for those of you who don't know what sage means, it's an adjective: wise, sapient, judicious, prudent, sensible, sane.
Oh, no.
Having or showing sound judgment suggests great understanding of people and of situations, and unusual discernment and judgment in dealing with them.
Damn.
Years, side experience and wisdom, Jeff Cain. That's a hell of a compliment you got from Esoteric Sky.
Well, how do I super chat? I feel like I owe him money. So
You got to super chat him.
Yeah, I got to super chat him. And get his card, because I think I might want to hire that guy just to introduce me before I walk into the damn room. Wow. I appreciate the compliment, man. Glad you guys tuned in. Now that we're at a little awkward break, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the social media. Jim's over there on all those accounts as well. I am. MMA Weekly, the mothership, is there. So follow us.
The mothership.
Or not,
Or not. That's a great promo. Yeah, follow us or not.
Yeah, or not.
Oh, man. And Jeff's our editor on MMAWeekly.com, so make sure you check out, day-by-day coverage. Great job by Jeff and Hunter and everybody on our team with the website. Scott Peterson on site in Vegas. We got the big pay-per-view next week. Lewis and Gon, Aldo and Munoz, and this fight's over already. I didn't even see what happened. I just know that Gooden landed a couple of bombs early, and I have not seen the one that ended it. And let's see. Here comes the highlight. Oh, straight right off the kisser. Whoa. What? No, now that's two finishes back-to-back, man. And Herb Dean, that's what you do. Whoever reffed that last fight, watch freaking Herb Dean run in there like he's a linebacker filling a hole in the NFL to save the fighter. That's what you do, ref. Pay attention. There you go.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the broadcasters' reactions. I've seen the corners' reactions, but I have not seen the knockout yet. But I'll take your word for it. A straight right hand just dropped him, huh?
And it wasn't on the end of the punch either. It was one of those, Jeff. So I'm gonna recreate the punch here. So he's coming from here, just right here, and bop, and he hit him literally like right there, but he hit him right flush straight on in the nose, and it dropped him. And he did take an extra shot too, but back-to-back walk-off knockouts by Melsik Bagdasaryan and Jared Gooden, one by head kick, one by punch. You don't connect more cleanly and deliver better blows than what we've seen in these last two fights, man. Violent finishes, terrific job by both fighters, and those are going to make the 2021 highlight reel no matter what.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm looking at the fight card. I mean, I think that those are your bonuses, right? You've had a bunch of this is the first fight of the night. Phil Rowe, won by a knockout, basically a TKO. But then there was all of these decisions, and then we kick off the main card, and then boom, after the first fight, we get back-to-back knockouts. I mean, I would have to say that they're clearly the bonus winners right now, and we may or may not get a fight of the night. Kind of depends on how these.
Phil Rowe. Sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead. Yeah, he won by knockout the first fight of the night, and then you got these two back-to-back.
I was going to say he lost his bonus, but he wouldn't have had one anyway because he weighed in at 173.5. So who do you get? I think you got to give it to both guys, Bagdasaryan and Gooden. You got to get Dana White should be calling in from the yacht in Greece right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Those are the guys that get the bonuses right now. Because like you brought up, one of them was a missed weight. So Phil Rowe is ineligible for a bonus, and then you just have the 2 finishes. And so there are your 2 performance of the bonuses. Now we got to figure out if the co-main event or main event end. If they end in finishes, then they could get a bonus, or I guess they could give a fight of the night. We did have 2 majority draws, haven't we? Or no, we had a majority decision and a majority draw. Is that right?
And a majority draw. Crazy night, man. And you got Jared Gooden. Night Train's his nickname, 27 years of age, and that is a big win over Nicholas Stolze. He had lost back-to-back fights to Alan Jouban and to Abubakar Nurmagomedov, name you might have heard of, and he gets back in the win column in a big way here tonight in UFC fight number 3 for him. Picks up his first win in the octagon.
It's a big moment. That's a big career moment right there. And he did it in highlight reel fashion. Oh, I just saw it. Man, he just dropped
right on the button, man. Right.
Yeah, and he's done. Oh, Herb was a long way away. Yeah, Herb was a long way away. He was behind literally on the opposite side of the cage. And so they got
Did you see Herb sprint?
Oh, yeah.
Herb's pretty quick, man. Herb's got the wheels.
Yeah,
there it is. Come on, Herb. Get there, Herb.
Herb's fought before, man. Herb used to actively roll and train. I don't know if he does anymore. I don't talk to Herb like I used to, but he has fought professionally. So that's the referees I like to have in there. People who experienced it before.
Yeah, him and Goddard, Big John. Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially when it comes to submissions, because some people. I mean, I got friends that are like, that Kimura doesn't look like it hurts. And I'm like, what the? Okay, man.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you don't know, you don't know. I guess that's why it's a saying. And so I prefer the referees to friggin' know, when I'm in a position that's dangerous. Am I choked out right now? Am I in a position where I can be and to take the necessary steps to protect my ass? That's because man, I've and I know you have too, because we've covered the regional shows and you've done the play-by-play and commentary, and I've covered regional shows, man. To say that I have seen some bad referees would be an understatement. Would be a friggin' understatement. I mean, I felt like I've seen fighters on the brink of death, and we're like, what the hell is this referee doing? I've seen a fighter choked out for so long that I jumped up on the ring apron as the photographer and started yelling at him. Which will get you thrown out of a damn event. But the guy was unconscious for so damn long, I felt like somebody needs to say something or we're going to have brain damage, if not a death in here. Yeah, man. So maybe that's why I don't get too crazy about the refs, because I've seen so many bad refs, it's not even funny. Fighting on
so
the
many
show
over
is
the year.
Dangerous, Jim. It's so dangerous.
Oh, dangerous. I've seen we even see it, and we had a referee here in Arizona take some heavy criticism when the UFC was here, and they say these guys are doing local shows, and then you throw them into a big show like that, and sometimes they're not ready for the moment. But your job as the referee, numero uno, correct me if I'm wrong, numero uno, Jeff, is to protect the fighters. Yes? No? Right?
Yes.
Numero uno.
Protect the fighters.
Yeah.
And enforce the rules. That's it. And
that's enforce the
rules.
But protect the fighters comes first, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I felt like those stoppages tonight, neither one of the refs could get there quick enough to avoid that secondary follow-up shot. So that's on the fighters, in my opinion. And I don't have a problem with it either way. I mean, if I were the one laying on the ground, hell no, I don't want you hitting me while I'm unconscious. But at the same time, it's hard to get there and stop a guy if he's damned and determined to. Vicious knockouts, man. That head kick and then that straight left hand right there, short left on the inside. That was kind of deceptive. Generated a lot of power, like you brought up. It generated a lot of power from a short distance.
There we go. I had myself muted. Yeah, he did. That was right on the button, too. Good finish by him. And, now you got the co-main event, Cheyenne Bays, who was going to be on the same card as her husband, JP Bays. But that's not happening tonight. But she's got a fight in this co-main event. Cheyenne Bays with an opportunity in the co-main event against Gloria DePaula at women's strawweight, Jeff. They kind of bumped up to the co-main. The Dawkins fight is off, and so they're the co-main. And a great opportunity for Cheyenne Bays in this co-main event, as well as Gloria DePaula at strawweight.
Yeah, look, with all the fights that dropped off, I mean, like I said, that Yanni Yaya just dropped off today, and so this is like the third or fourth co-main event they've had to throw in that spot. Look, it doesn't matter though; it's a big opportunity for these two ladies right now. You know, and so that's the only thing they need to be concerned with is you're on ESPN, you're on cable network in pretty much prime time. And you need to go out there. Here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity to pick up some fans. Here's your opportunity to Dana White's sitting on a damn yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean cooking meals, but he's watching this shit. And so you want to raise some eyebrows with the UFC matchmakers, the president, and then everybody else in the country. You know, two things happen whenever you have that big coming out moment. Either people start calling the matchmakers to want to fight you, or people start calling the matchmakers saying anybody but that person. So they have a huge opportunity right now for exposure, career, everything. Yeah, this card doesn't have a lot of huge names, but you're still the damn co-main event on ESPN.
Yep, and both of them are strikers, Jeff. So an opportunity for some serious highlights here. Shoot boxer is DePaula, and Cheyenne Bays is an outstanding fighter in her own right. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these two women do at the opportunity because look, everybody has to get that chance. If you make it big in life, you get that chance at one point in time or another. Looks like we have someone headed to the podium. Have to see who it is. It would probably be Jason Witt because we haven't seen Witt that we know of. And Melsik Bagdasaryan, and then Jared Gooden, but it would be Jason Witt, I believe, next at the podium, who defeated Brian Barbarina by majority decision in our opening bout on the main card.
Yeah, it's about time to start bringing some people back. Yeah, I agree.
I think Melsik will be next. She says Jason Witt is not feeling good, so I think Jason will be coming, but it might be a minute.
Okay, thank you, Scott. That's Scott Peterson on site in Las Vegas for MMA Weekly at the UFC Apex. A big night of fights, as always, in the Octagon. And like you said, Jeff, co-main event on ESPN. You know what? You're talking about 1 million somewhere in that. Probably, I would guess, probably the largest audience times 10. Probably all of their fights combined have not had that same audience as they will have tonight. Bays and DePaula. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, this is a big stage for both of them. Now, look, we're competing with a lot of things tonight, which is why this fight card is what it is. We're going. The UFC's going head to head with a I don't know, I wouldn't call it a rival promotion, but another mixed martial arts promotion that's had some big fights tonight. The Olympics are on, and that doesn't include the regular Saturday night sports run that's whatever's on TV. But this is still a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity. And like I said, these, the press conferences and stuff get more play and everything on these fight cards. So, yeah, this is huge exposure. Look at him.
Look at him primping, Jeff. He's getting ready for his close-up. It's Melsik Bagdasaryan, winner by TKO over Colin Anglin, right here on MMA Weekly from Vegas at the Apex.
Melsik. Hey.
How you feeling?
I feel good, thank you.
I mean, that was quite the knockout, quite the UFC debut. How would you rate it?
How would I made it? Rate it? I don't like talking about me, so there are very good, the journalists and everyone, and then the guys who is understand sport very good than me. Let them to rate it. For me, it's okay, just normal.
Most people know your Contender Series, you fought in the Contender Series last season, and I believe Dana White invited you back, but you declined to come back. Why did you decline?
I don't remember what happened, but that time, our nation was in the war, and then everything it looks like something happened to our family. We are Armenians, it doesn't matter if something happened to our Armenian. So we're taking that very personally. So that time we didn't even train. We just not like not sleeping, and then every time like looking, calling Armenia, what's happening, and then that was like very bad times. So we can't even eat and walk and go somewhere because we was like in, I don't know. I swear I don't want to like repeat that days again.
Well, you came back to the building that you competed in the Contender Series, and you got that win.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That was good. That was good. Very good. So for every fighter, after the win, it looks like the world is yours. This is the man's world. Yeah. Even if you win like good, like knockout or something, and then whole your nation, all the people, your people or Armenian people, even the people around the world who loves you. You're alone, but you're doing for like, let's say like 2-3 million. 2-3 million, they're happy for you, but you make them happy. But you're alone, they are like couple million, and then that's the life for me. That means a lot for me.
Is there anybody that you would like to face in your next fight?
No. I just started. I'm not like, I'm a Melsik Bagdasar. No, I'm just like regular, normal fighter, just normal human, and then whatever comes first.
And there's several Armenian fighters in the UFC. Chikagian and Edmund Chabazian. Are you looking to be the face of Armenian MMA?
Yeah, we are. They are all my brothers. I just don't know the personality that girl, Armenian girl. But Edmund Shabazian, we trained together at Glendale Fighting Club with Coach Edmund Tarverzian. He's my old brother. I'm a young brother. I'm older. Like when I came USA 8 years ago, he was like a kid. And then, Arman Sarukian is my friend, my brother too. We are like, this is the small world. Even like we are like couple Armenian fighters in the UFC. We are all brothers. We are all together.
And finally, I just want to say congratulations on your wedding, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Oh, one thing.
Is that
yes.
it?
You're now an American. You just got your citizenship. Tell us about, and you're bringing your parents over. Tell us about that experience, that gift you're able to give your family.
So I applied for my parents. So I became a citizen, and I applied for my parents to be here. So they came with green card, and then I can't explain how happy I am because I came from like, I was a kid. I saw so many bad days, and then very good days, and then bad days, hard days. I've been alone. It's, if I now looking back, now like what I did. I came from Armenia. I remember, I swear, I was like, you're 21 years old when I came, and then you're young, your blood like hot, and then you leave your family, you leave your friends, and then everything. It doesn't matter how strong your personality, it's mentally very, very hard because you coming USA like the biggest, like for me, the biggest country in the world, and then everything is new, everything changed. That was like so hard for me. I was crying like sometimes, and then like why I came, just go back and then be happy. But I know why I came. I came for this. This is my fighting career, my parents here with green card, I'm a citizen, so I don't know. That's why I love USA. This is the best country in the world. I love Armenia too. I born there. You never forgot. You can't forget like where you came from. But the Armenia is different. USA is different. Armenia looks like your parents. They like you born there. They're your parents, and then USA looks like your wife and then your kids. They both your family. You love them. but you can't compare. Oh, like this is more or this one less. They're both your family. Armenia, USA, both my family. That's why I like on the top, both flags, Armenia and USA. I love them both.
How hard was that with your parents over there and the turmoil going on in your homeland, and trying to get them over here and you're by yourself? And I mean, how long were you separated?
That was so hard. That was so hard. But if you know, me personally, if I want to do something, I swear, like I can even like stay awake like couple days, no sleep. If I have some money, if I know I have to like buy this, but I'm hungry, I'm not gonna buy food. I'll just keep it and then do that thing that I have in my mind. So yeah, that's me personally. That's why I'm here now. That's why all that hard work. Now it's like I'm happy that, oh, you know, I came from here, now I'm here. But if I remember the way, I don't want to remember. But now it's good, everything good.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Melsik Bagdasaryan on the podium in Vegas.
Thank you, guys.
Our own Scott Peterson wrapping it up with him there. Someone's got to work with him a little bit, as the guys up in Vegas and girls had to pull some things out of him. He said he doesn't like talking about himself, Jeff Cain. That's not going to work in an individual sport. It's his first UFC fight. Got to learn how to make that money, but with what he's been through, a war-torn homeland, coming here, putting the American flag on, so happy. You know what? That's what this country used to be all about for people coming in. That look on his face, that excitement, how happy he is to be an American. How refreshing is that to see someone who's so grateful for the opportunity that he has? I'm not here to politicize. I'm not here to rip anybody, but I just found it really refreshing to see him cloaked in the American flag, to hear the way that he speaks about Armenia and the USA. He loves both, and a very, very, I mean, just refreshing, a breath of fresh air. That's number one. And then numero dos here, Jeff. Another knockout in Bays with a head being on her, dominating on the feet from the very beginning of that fight, and another head kick knockout, 3 in a row, all of them highlight reels. If you missed a UFC fight card because you think it doesn't look so good on paper, you missed Bagdasaryan, Gooden, and Baez with highlight reel knockouts back to back to back.
Yeah, now this fight definitely should have been stopped sooner, man. I mean, the girl was getting up and ate a head kick as she stood. Just fell right back down to her butt, and then kind of scooted awkwardly, and the referee let it go. And then she took like 5 or 6 just unanswered right hands while she was not quite there. That was kind of crazy. But yeah, man, that was I don't know, man. I guess you give some people opportunities to continue. The referee clearly thought she was there. I did not, but I wasn't in the ring. Or in the
and Bays walked it off. Bays walked away and put her arms up. She walked it off like you talked about after the Bagdasaryan fight.
Yeah, and then the referee didn't stop it, so she had to go back and pound on her a little more before the referee stopped it. That was, I don't know, I felt like that was unnecessary. That
referee as the Bagdasaryan fight, Jeff. Mark Smith. Not there tonight, Mark.
Well, on that one, yeah, that one was bad. The other one, I just didn't feel like he got there in time. This one, he didn't stop it, and then watched a little closer while she just took huge damage. I didn't like seeing that, but that was a hell of a finish, man. That was a boom. I mean, as she stood up, just a head kick knocked her right back to her back, and that was crazy. But getting back to the podium, yeah, you know, it's nice. It's nice to be reminded that the American dream exists, right? I mean, that it is refreshing to get that, and I understood. I like the way he explained it. Because a lot of people get caught up into that. You know, when somebody moves to America, well, what do you like more? Oh, you like this country better than you like? No, it isn't about that. It's about opportunity. It's about opportunity. He came here for opportunity, and you could tell him he'll get emotion. You know, he got emotional about being able to bring his family out of that environment into this one. The Armenian people are a close-knit group. You know, that the Armenian genocide, Manny Gambarian drew attention towards that after some of his wins. They're close-knit people, been through a lot, and that's always going to be his home, but he's found a new home here for his family and opportunity. And You know, he had to be reminded of why he did it along the way, because you know it's not easy to do what he did. You know, to just pick up and move to the other side of the world in a different culture, a different language, to chase a dream, man. Props to him for that. I mean, and yeah, I agree with what you're saying about him, you know, not wanting to talk about himself. He's going to have to start doing that. But look, that guy's probably a national hero in Armenia. He probably is.
Good point.
And so, and if he isn't, he should be. You know, he should be. And so that'll come. I think, you know, and a lot of that's probably the language, right? He's clearly not comfortable yet speaking English, although he did a great job. And so I think you'll see that come out of him as he gets more comfortable with the language. But yeah, props to him, man. And like you brought up, you know, you look at these fight cards. I said it before we went on the air. This is probably the worst fight card of the year for the UFC on paper, for sure. There just wasn't any meaningful.
And look what we just got.
And look what we got. And we got to hear that. You know, all those people falling off the fight card and all the things that changed and everything. We gave opportunities for him and Baez as well, right here at the co-main event. You know, for us to hear his story. You know, had the fight card stayed the same as it was, he might not have made it to the podium. He might not have been got that opportunity. You know, that was huge. Yep. And I think that we're all better for hearing that damn story, right? I mean, we get caught up into the cycle and the politics and all the bullshit about America and everything that goes on in America. And sometimes it takes somebody like him for us as Americans to take a step back and say, you know what, we do have it pretty damn good. We got people who are really, really desperate to get here, and we get to enjoy it every day. So that was a nice reminder, Jim. I got to be honest. That was that made my night. That made my damn night.
Me
right
too.
There. I mean,
me too. I love it. And you know what I love? So first of all, I have two more things to throw at you, Jeff, and get your reaction. 3 minutes and 57 seconds out of a possible 45 minutes of fight time is what we just saw in those 3 fights in a row. So we're at 7:40 Pacific. The card started at 6. We're an hour and 40 minutes in, and we're hitting the main event. I mean, think about that for 1 second. 3 fights in a row. What you're talking about, a minute 50, a minute 8, and then 1 minute back to back to back. They changed that from 59 to 1 minute. So 3:58 out of 45 minutes of fight time. That's number one. And then number two, Jeff, this warms my soul because you know I'm all about inspiration. You know I'm all about people chasing dreams. We just saw Bagdasaryan pick up a win in his first UFC fight. Jared Gooden, his first UFC win in his third UFC fight. And Cheyenne Bays, her first UFC win in her second UFC fight. So not only did they finish in spectacular fashion after this fight lost so many people, they absolutely did it in grand fashion, picking up their first wins in the octagon. All 3 of them. Here's one of them. Jared Gooden at the podium, victorious over Nicholas Stolze, KO by punch, 108, round number 1. Here he is from Vegas on MMA Weekly.
That's what I visualized the fight being like.
Yeah. How bad was that third round?
I don't want to talk about it. No, no, but it was a good fight. You know, in the corner, Julian Marquez says 5 minutes for the rest of your life, and Cross is like, I don't give a shit if you make this the most boring fight or boring round in the entire world. I just want you to go out there and fucking win. And I thought I did do that, and he's like, yeah, for 30 seconds, the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds was the most crazy round I've ever seen in my life. So
it was insane.
I don't remember a lot of it, exactly how the details went, but yeah, man, it was an exciting fight. It was definitely a whirlwind of emotions, that's for sure.
Is this one of those fights where like no one wants to get hurt in a fight, right? You want to get out with as perfect performance as you can, but is this one of those things that you can take now and be like, dude, when the fire starts going, I can stay in there and I can still pull through and persevere? Is this a cool thing to take away from this? Yeah,
there's a lot, man. There's you know Barbarina's been in this for a long time. He's a veteran of the sport, and that's for sure. He's fought a lot of big names in the sport, and to be able to beat a guy like him really kind of shows that, hey, I belong. Like I've always said, I belong in the sport. I belong in the UFC, but to beat a guy like that really kind of shows that, hey man, like I'm at the next level of where I thought I could be.
You said like, oh, I knew it was going to look like that, but is there a moment in the fight where you're landing big shots and you're like, oh yeah, he's not going anywhere, and you just kind of have to prepare for that?
Honestly, I visualized a couple times like hitting him, and I didn't expect him to drop, and I dropped him twice with those hooks, and I really wasn't expecting him to fall over, and he did. There was a time I got him in a guillotine, and dude, he was gurgling for a good minute. I was like, I got this. I got this. I was like, wait a second here. He's not tapping. Okay, I should probably let go. And then I knew he'd be tired to that, but yeah, man,
that guillotine looked tight.
I didn't have the right angle. I knew that I was kind of straight onto it, but I could hear him gurgling. I was like, if I put my arms out, I am screwed. And then coming out that third round, I was like, oh shit, we might be in some trouble here. But yeah, it was intense.
I'm sure you're going to need some time to heal up and stuff, but is there a date you'd like to get back in there?
Yeah, haven't really thought about that one just yet. But yeah, I'd love to fight before the end of the year at least. You know,
I love it. You just had a crazy war, and I'm like, so when are you doing it again?
Yeah, you want to go next Saturday? Saturday sound good to you? Like, no. Yeah, I mean, give me a couple months. You know, give me 3 months, get another fight scheduled. Something I think we're figuring something out. So hopefully soon.
How cool would 50 grand be?
Look, I said in multiple interviews before this fight even started that this had Fight of the Night written all over it. And if that last round doesn't say 50 G's on it, I don't know what round in this entire UFC does. If I don't deserve 50 G's for that fight, and he doesn't deserve 50 G's for that fight, then I don't know what fight you guys are watching or what fight that they think deserves 50 G's. But show me that fight, because I think we both deserve that 50 G's by far.
It's funny, there's been some bangers tonight, but yours is still like
Yeah.
the best. So for a card full of bangers, for yours to be the best one is pretty cool. So
Right.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Jason.
What's up?
So you called
Thor
for.
is still not here, unfortunately.
You'll get to see him soon.
Yeah.
You called for Max Griffin after the fight. What about that fight excites you?
I watched his last fight and I thought it looked fun. I thought it looked to be a fun fight for me. I don't call out people. I'm not a person who watches people like, oh, I'd like to fight that fight. I thought it looked like a fun fight for me, and he has a good name. He's leading himself up there, and I feel like we're kind of on the same path where we're both trying to get up there, and that's just a fight that looked fun for me.
Is there anybody else?
I don't know. Let me talk to my coaches about that, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Congrats.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Congrats on the big win.
Thank you,
Definitely
thank you.
fight of the night, at least in our opinion, if it matters.
It should matter. It should.
When they announced that 28-28, what did you feel like if it was going to be a draw all across the board?
I want to know what that person was drinking, because I'll take 2 of those. Because I don't know how you get 28 out of that one. That's a little ridiculous. Hey, well, look, as long as it says Jason Witt at the end of that with the W next to it, we're good. I don't care. You could score it 28-28 all day long, but as long as it says Jason Witt wins, we're good.
You mentioned that a couple things you don't remember. Of course, that was a instant classic. You mentioned clearly in the media day getting your rest, and that obviously helped you not go to sleep tonight because you handled business.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of the adjustments, how you felt, how you were able to elevate with that new way of life that you have preparing for fights.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at my last fight, I got dropped in 16 seconds. I took 1 shot, and I think that had to do with the weight cut. And you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not taking away from Matt Simmonsberger, but the weight cut was way harder last time, and I cut close to similar amounts of weights this time and last time, but this time was way easier. The weight came off better, I slept better, I felt better. And I think that being able to rehydrate much better and my body being less stressed really gave me a chance to kind of take some shots. You know what I mean? Like my brain was more hydrated, my body was more hydrated. And so I took some big shots tonight. I'm not gonna take that away from Barbarina, but I can, you know, with the recovery that I got, with the sleep I got, with the hydration I got, I was able to stick in there and keep fighting for 3 rounds, even with big shots being thrown at me, compared to, you know, the last fight, which we don't ever have to talk about again.
Excellent. Can't wait to see you back. And lastly, Hustler's Ambition by 50 Cent. Why was that the walkout song? Excellent song, by the way.
Okay, so going back to when I used to wake up at 4 a.m., right? I'd always play off my songs by mood. And so I woke up one morning for the Cole Williams fight. I woke up one morning, it's like 4 a.m. I was tired as shit. I was like, I don't want to fucking go to work. So I'm driving to work. Hustler's Ambition comes on, and I would just put me in that mood. I was like, I was ready to go. I was ready to go the rest of the day, and I was like, that's my song choice. And I walked out to the last win for that, and I was like, you know what? That song gets me motivated. I really dig it. It kind of starts off slow and then amps up a little bit, and I'm like, I dig it. Let's go. So I played that song again.
Excellent. And then with the potential 50 G's, get rich or die trying, my man.
My man, I love that one. That's a good one. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Rating walkout songs in the post-fight press conference. A big win for Jason Witt. Sorry, guys, I called him Jared Gooden. I dropped the ball, wasn't paying attention as I should have. I looked at him coming up to the podium and forgot that Witt hadn't been there yet. Usually it's like clockwork, but I guess he wasn't feeling well. But he was able to make it back in a good performance. Jim Grieshaber, Jeff Cain here on MMA Weekly, UFC Fight Night Live on the most trusted source of news and entertainment and information in mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. MMA Weekly, Jim Grieshaber and Jeff Cain. I think I just said that, but I'll say it again as we continue onward, Jeff, toward the main event and a tough act to follow because we definitely have three KOs of the night. We definitely have 3 KOs of the night in Bagdasarian, Gooden, and Bays. We already have a fight of the night in Witt and Barbarina, which was fantastic. So Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland, and I think they will. They need to show up and show out right now. Number 8 and number 11 in the middleweight division, Jeff. Both of them are looking really good lately. 4 wins in a row for Strickland against Talib, Marshman, Brendan Allen, and Christoph Jotko. So this is a big fight for him against Uriah Hall, to say the least. And then Uriah Hall, primetime, back to back over Ant Weidman before Antonio Carlos Jr. And it was a loss to Paulo Costa again. He lost to Costa, Musasi, Brunson, and Whitaker. Those are his last 4 losses. Now here's Jared Gooden at the podium, victorious tonight as well.
I feel great.
Was that how you envisioned it?
100%. Like it's, I the entire time I envisioned a win. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's amazing right now.
I mean, I asked you on Thursday if you were disappointed that you haven't been able to show the fans that you're a finisher. Well.
Oh, I showed them today. Like I said, like I'm glad y'all got to see it, and I look forward to more coming.
You took this fight on short notice. Looking back, was there any thought in the back of your mind that you weren't going to fight, or was this you were going to fight?
No, I know I was going to fight. Like it's funny how life is, man. Like it's going to sound kind of weird, but I had a spiritual awakening earlier this week, man. And just like it's funny how the fight fell into my lap. Like me and my coach, my team, we talked about it. Then it happened, and we came out here. So it's amazing, man. It's everything I envisioned.
What happened this morning or in the afternoon? In your fight got called off?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's funny. I was literally sleeping, and my coach came wake me up, and he's like, "What's going on?" And we had to go downstairs and had to ask people, call the manager, and all kinds of stuff what was going on. Like, but in my mind, I knew this fight was going to happen. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm just happy to be out here and get to show the fans what they want to see.
I mean, when you get that call from your coach, I mean, did your heart just drop?
Yeah. If I'm completely honest, man, I almost had a breakdown, man, because I was looking forward to this fight. You know what I mean? But luckily, my coach is like a father to me, man. He pulled me out of that bullshit. You know what I mean? He's like, stop being stupid. You know what I mean? And we got it handled. You know what I mean? Got my mindset right, and we got it all figured out, and that's why we're here.
2 more for me. Do you feel that weight off your shoulders? You were 0-2 in the UFC, and you got that win.
Yeah, I do feel like a little weight's off my shoulders, but like I said, I'm ready to come back as soon as I can, man. So it's just on the hunt for another fight, another finish. When would you like to come back, and do you have anybody on that you would like to fight? I told the UFC and Sean Shelby them I'm ready to come back every 90 days. If sooner, I will. I've called out a lot of people. A lot of people have ignored me, so I'm not going to call anybody because they seem like they're going to keep ignoring me. So I'll take whoever's going to fight me. Who is one of those people that... I ain't going to start no shit, man. You know what I mean? I like to try to call me on it, but nah, man, I ain't going to start no shit. I'm just going to fight whoever comes. Congrats. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Congrats on the win. Night Train, could that have gone any better? Was there any jitters, anything? I mean, I know we don't have too much to work with, but... Always going into a fight, I'm always a little nervous. You know what I mean? But like I said, I believe nerves keeps me sharp, and so that's why it happened like that. Like, could it happen any better? Probably could have, but like I'm just happy with the result. Yeah, it looked great. Michael Bisping just pointed out how you just have all this power, and the physique, putting it all together. And shout out to Tatiana Suarez, who said that you are a small Debo. So. Oh, that's funny. Luckily, I've heard that before, but that's hilarious. Somebody said that. Hey, somebody got knocked the F out. So. Oh yeah. It's the Night Train continues, and that catchphrase, we gotta just edit it. Because it's going to grow. It's a big win. Oh, man. Like I got kids saying it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to make anybody say any bad words, but it's just a beautiful catchphrase. Come on, it rolls off the tongue. Listen to it. Choo-choo, motherfucker. It just rolls off the tongue. It sounds so good. Look how it makes y'all smile. Come on now. Choo-choo it is. Thank you, sir. Good night. Thank you, guys.
There was a lot of emotion that came out of you right after the victory. Was that because the two losses were gone, or was it about the whole week? Like you said, there was a mix of the emotions today, thinking that the fight wasn't going to happen. What was that release right there all about? The release, man, it was like I said, I wanted to make my mom proud for one. You know what I mean? Like that, my mom has always been fighting for me even when I was a kid. So I want to make sure I come out here and I fight for her. So I made her proud. The emotion was also like, say, for my coach and my team, and for Georgia. You know what I mean? Like.
a lot of people are watching me, and a lot of people got a lot of hopes in me and stuff like that. And I'm glad I can come out here and make y'all proud. You know what I mean? I'm just happy that like y'all can like see my work. That's cool.
What was the game plan coming in? You very pushed the pace real quickly. A lot of people might think because you took since you took the fight on short notice that maybe the cardio wasn't going to be there if it went deep. But what was the game plan for him coming in?
I had no game plan, man. It was just go, like whatever comes may come. You know what I mean? Just go.
And when you connected and you saw him go down, how excited did you get? And did you feel that he was done at that point once he dropped?
Yeah, if you drop on me, I'm just gonna jump on you. You know what I mean? Like I have a killer mindset. Even though he fell, I knew I had to keep going. And saw I dropped like 2 or 3 more bombs. That's just who I am. I'm a killer, bro. So yeah, it was awesome.
And lastly, you had talked about the biggest difference of before when you fought and now was the mentality. And you know what was the biggest part of the mentality what switched? What was the parts that you had to change to get on this winning wave?
I don't know how to explain that. It was just like everything in the gym, you know what I mean? Like with my team and my coach, we just I don't know how to explain it, man. It's so like the kind of coach I have, a lot of people will be blessed to have. You know what I mean? Like my coach is more than just a coach. He's like a father figure. He talks to me. It's not just about coming out here and letting them fight. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it other than like my coach changed my mentality. You know what I mean? We're all on one mindset. You know what I mean? Our gym's one mindset, and that's what changed.
Almost like he taught you to believe in yourself a little bit?
100%. 100%. Congrats
on the win.
Thank you, sir.
You mentioned you had an awakening earlier on in the week. Would you like to touch on that?
It's funny how to explain this. It's like it's the one way to explain this. I believe everybody has different religion stuff. Like a lot of people believe God's in the sky. I believe God's within. You know what I mean? God's within us. And it's just I don't know how to explain it. It's just like something within me. Like I said, God within was talking to me, telling me certain things, and like it's just amazing how this came to happen. I mean, how it happened. You know what I mean? It's just like I said, I believe my God inside me was talking to me, telling me all the right things, and just seeing how everybody and everything in my life was lining up for this. It was meant to be.
What was the catalyst that kind of spurred that?
Tuesday morning, we finished training, and my coach is like, "Hey, how about you hit up your manager, see if anybody falls out, if you take their spot?" And within 20 minutes, they were telling me Sean Shelby wanted somebody. I'm like, "Shit, put me down. I don't care who the opponent is, but get me in." And here I am.
Did you bring that in with you into the octagon?
100%. You know what I mean? Like I said, even I brought everything in with me. Like I said, I felt like my back was the wall for this fight. I was 2-0 going in, and I knew I had to shine, and like I knew I had to get an impressive win.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Choo-choo, motherfuckers.
And he was 0-2 before this fight, so a big win. It is catchy, Jeff. Choo-choo MFers right there. I like it. Hey, man, it's a good win. Catchy. You can say whatever you want after a win like that. I like it. I like it. And a really impressive victory. And, of course, we got the main event coming up, but Melsik Bagdasaryan, Jared Gooden, Cheyenne Bays, back-to-back-to-back, TKO, KO, TKO, head kick, punch, head kick. And now we have the main event just about ready to start in the octagon right now. Jeff, Uriah, primetime, and Strickland, a gold for Strickland, the biggest name opponent he's fought, and the biggest opportunity for him for sure in the UFC. And he's been there a while, man. He made his UFC debut all the way back at UFC 171, March of 2014, against Bubba McDaniel. He's lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's lost to Kamaru Usman, way before Kamaru Usman was Kamaru Usman. This is April 8th in 2017. And then he lost to Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. But since then, he's ripped off 4 wins in a row. Last one over Krzysztof Jotko, who's also been defeated by Uriah Hall. For Uriah Hall, I mean, he came into the UFC with a lot of hype, even though he lost the Ultimate Fighter finale by split decision to Kelvin Gastelum. Made a lot of noise, big highlights in that season. He's had fights against some of the biggest names in the sport. He's beaten Chris Lieben. He's beaten Thiago Santos. He's beaten Gegard Mousasi. He's beaten Anderson Silva. He's beaten Chris Weidman. Those losses, Whittaker, Brunson, Mousasi, and Paulo Costa. Uriah Hall has been in there in a lot of big-time fights. He's been in a main event, and this is not new for him. It is with Strickland, as you mentioned a little bit earlier on in the show, but these are 2 strikers. They both love to get down and dirty and violent in there. We have a very good chance of seeing our 4th straight TKO or knockout to finish off the night.
Oh, we have a great chance. Yeah, it's an understatement. Yeah, man, I think this fight could end early, just like the last few had. Both of the fighters have the striking ability to do it. And yeah, man, you're right. Uriah Hall, while people can say what they want, like the Anderson wasn't in his prime, or Weidman even, but the Masasi win, nobody can say that. And the fights that you bring up that he lost against those top guys, he was in, like I said, he had moments in those fights. Uriah Hall's a tough out for everyone in this division. He just is, he's hard to read in there. He's so dynamic, and he can get you from a lot of different angles, and he's fast, and sometimes he pressures you, sometimes he's a counter striker. He mixes it up really well, and he's dynamic. It's unpredictable. I really enjoy watching Uriah Hall fight. He's one of those guys that I kind of feel like was maybe hyped too much in the beginning. But man, if you saw those knockouts on the Ultimate Fighter and stuff, I don't know how you don't hype a guy like that,
Yeah, and you're talking about Uriah Hall. When he lost to Robert Whittaker, that was when he was starting to make his move, and we thought we might see a title run. He beats Masasi, fights Whittaker, and that was a huge fight for Whittaker. It was his third fight at middleweight, and after he beat Uriah Hall, he moved on to Rafael Natal, Derek Brunson, Jacare, and then the fight against Romero for the title, followed up by the second one against Romero. So that was really a springboard fight for Robert Whittaker, and Uriah Hall wants to be so much more than that. Jeff, everyone's always thought, not everyone, but most people have thought that Uriah Hall has UFC champion material. He's working with a lot of tools in the toolbox. They think he has the ability to one day become a champion. He's taken the circuitous route. He's had his ups, he's had his downs. We mentioned the big names and the big-time fighters he's shared the octagon with. The list goes on and on. But he also has to realize, and he does, going into this fight, that he's got a very hungry, very determined, mean, and nasty opponent standing in his way in Strickland.
Oh yeah, look, Strickland's trying to make a name for himself, or build his name bigger off of Uriah Hall. I mean, Hall has to know that. He has to know that. Here's a guy who's fighting up in the rankings, and Hall's fighting down. Strickland has everything to prove in this fight, everything to prove, and so does Hall. They're both on good 4-5. I think they're both on 4-fight winning streaks, and right now Strickland's jab is landing at will.
It is, right down the pipe, and he's got some heat on that jab. He's got a lot of power, does Sean Strickland, and he loves the violence. He talks to his opponents in there. When you look at his career, he's got 23 wins and 3 losses, 10 knockouts, 4 submissions, so he's got 10 KOs in his career. He can turn the lights out in a hurry on anybody in there, and Uriah Hall can too. Obviously, he's always a threat with that head kick, but Uriah Hall's got 13 knockouts, so 23 knockouts combined for these two guys. But you're right, Strickland's jab has been finding a home pretty much right from the beginning of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, and he's doing what I said. He stands in front of you, and that's what worried me heading into this fight. But his jab seems to be able to keep Hall at distance, a little bit. Strickland's looking good. Hall's starting to find his range, and he's firing back some counter shots and landing them. But right now, Strickland's dictating the pace of this fight.
There you go, Uriah. Uriah with the leg kick behind the knee, the calf kick to Strickland, and you think with Uriah Hall's ability that he should be throwing a lot more kicks here in this fight. Jim Grieshaber, Jeff Cain, MMA Weekly's live coverage of UFC Fight Night. Hit that subscribe button, get you in here. Who do you have winning this main event between Sean Tarzan Strickland and Uriah Primetime Hall? A lot of strikes being exchanged early on in this fight. No real damage done yet, but they're starting to land, and that overhand right from Strickland's coming very close to the chin of Uriah Hall. I'd have to feel pretty good right now if I'm Strickland, and very confident in my stand-up. He appears to be a little bit more crisp, a little bit quicker, and landing a little bit more frequently here early on than his opponent, Uriah Hall.
Yeah, he's definitely using his jab to set up that 2. Neither one of them landed a big power shot yet, but they're doing. I mean, Strickland's doing good a job of touching Hall. He hasn't landed that big left hand yet, but it's getting really close. And Hall's getting close on these counters. I think that this fight, how much time we got left? Yeah, we still got a minute
and Hall just hit
or more.
Yep, minute 45. I have on mine. I don't know what you have. 45,
right
44, 43, round 1.
I'm on the TV, but yeah, they. I expect for the remainder of this round for them to mix it up even more. I feel like both of them have found their range now, and they're comfortable. And I think you're going to start seeing some big shots land. I just don't know which one's going to land them. Right now, it looks like Strickland. Strickland's the one landing the majority of the shots.
Yeah, his last TKO was against Brendan Allen. Punches at UFC Fight Night Felder versus Dos Anjos. November 14th, 2020. Felder commentating this fight. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Chris Weidman. He needs another surgery on that leg, and it didn't heal properly, or it wasn't set right, or something along those lines. So, man, thoughts and prayers and a speedy recovery to the All-American, the great middleweight champion Chris Weidman. His last time out against Uriah Hall, which was Hall's last fight, the leg of Chris Weidman snapped in half when Uriah Hall checked a kick, eerily similar to that of the one that Weidman checked against Anderson Silva, which, really changed Silva's career for the worse. And, of course, Uriah Hall has back-to-back wins over Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. He finished the UFC tenure of Anderson Silva, so he gets to say for the rest of his life that he retired Anderson Silva by knockout, by TKO in the 4th round back in October. And that's something to tell the grandkids, for sure.
Yeah, and he may be able to say the same thing about Weidman. We just don't know yet because of Weidman's age and then the complications that he's having. And then at some point, Weidman's going to have to make a decision, that do I want to work to get back into fighting shape, or do I just want to heal up enough to enjoy the rest of my life and live, and be able to run out in the yard and throw football and play with the kids. And I think that he may very well have to make that decision. It's all going to come down to that second surgery. It's going to come down to that second surgery to see how it does. Tough break, man. Tough break, because he'd been walking on his own. He had been in the gym and working out, and that's where he started feeling the pain and the awkward feeling in the leg. Went in, had the MRI done, and it looks like he's going to have another surgery. And that's the last thing you want to friggin' hear, right? It's the last thing.
Yeah, the last thing. It's the last thing, man. Yeah. He's got kids. He's got a whole life to live. He's got money. You know what I mean? And I love Chris. His podcast is awesome. He's going to do really well there. And I just want to give everybody a little update, too. I had scheduled an interview with Chris for this coming week, but in light of what's going on with him, he's going to take a little bit of a break and, kind of see what's going on with the date for the next surgery and all those things before he does the interview. So he's cool about it. But, understandably so. He just wants to focus on that right now. And I'm very excited for, Chris Weidman for the rest of his life. I mean, there was something when that first happened, you didn't know if there'd have to be a partial amputation or anything that would ever heal in that leg, whether his lower leg would ever be the same again. So when you're talking about stuff like that, for a father, for a husband, for a young guy who's got his whole life ahead of him, first things first, man, get that leg better, Chris, and then, live the rest of your life. But if you ever do want to get in there, if Chris Weidman ever does want to get back in there, he'll have 100% support from me. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he gets back in shape, he'll get another fight, no question. It's just a matter of is his leg going to cooperate? Because, look, Chris is going to do what he needs to do in the physical therapy and all that. We know that. But it just, not everybody bounces back from an injury like that. Anderson did, although he didn't look the same, as you brought up. Anderson was never the same after the broken leg, ever. Now he did a kick with it and he looked good at times, but it was never the same. And Weidman's not young, and so he's young.
Look at Strickland going after Hall, Jeff. Whoa.
Yeah. Weidman's young in life, but not, but kind of old in the sport, So we'll see what happens to him. Hopefully he gets it. Hopefully he gets back. Yes, Strickland landed a hell of a combination and it's putting the pressure on Uriah.
Uriah Hall might be in trouble here. Yeah, he landed with an elbow because I thought Hall, when he started throwing the double jab, that right was coming close, but Strickland clipped him a couple times here. He's got him backed against the fence. I think Uriah Hall's recovered enough to where he's not out on his feet. He's not in any danger. I mean, you're always in danger of being finished, but Strickland with that crew cut, with that buzzed up hair, digging that hair right into the chin, the cheeks, underneath into the neck of Uriah Hall, which we know is no fun. Of all the things you can have happen in there, it's not the worst thing, but it's no fun to have him on you. He's a high-volume guy. He's relentless with his attack. And round one, I think, went to Strickland. So far, round two, Strickland looks pretty good. So I'd say, would you agree, round one, Strickland, 10-9? And then right now in round two, looking pretty good.
Yeah, round one was Strickland. He outworked Hall for sure. Even I don't think either one of them had the other one in danger. He dictated the pace. He controlled the fight more than Hall, and he outworked Hall. And then here in the second round, he took the fight to Hall early. They're separated now, and Hall looks like he's got a little bit of pep behind his step now.
Where's the leg kicks, Uriah? Throw the kicks, dude. There you go.
Yeah, so maybe Hall needed that combination and that
easy,
those punches
Jeff. Throw the kick.
Get in the fight. We'll see. Well, I mean, you brought up about the Chris Weidman. You know, his last fight, he saw Chris Weidman's leg snap. Maybe that's why he's not throwing a ton of kicks in there. You know, I don't know.
You never know what kind of effect it can have on you.
Yeah, man, I'll never throw a kick. I'm not going to kick anything. I'm not going to kick a soccer ball ever again. After watching these guys, between Connor and Weidman and Anderson, I like my legs intact.
And I'll say this, man, these leg injuries are brutal. And the one thing they have going for them is that they're clean breaks. But that's a good point about Uriah Hall. You never know how things are going to affect you, even if you're the one who threw it, because you're never the same. Weidman said it with Silva on his podcast. You're never the same when you see something and you experience something like that, even if it's not happening to you. If the person who's involved in it, there's a nice jab by Uriah Hall. Starting to feel a little bit better, I think, on the feet right now. Maybe I don't want to say underestimated because I don't know, but it looked like the speed of Strickland surprised Uriah Hall in the beginning of this fight. I don't think he thought he was that fast, and I don't think he thought he was that accurate. But he realized, hey, I'm in a real fight here against a terrific striker. Sky's the limit for Strickland. He looks really comfortable in there. He loves that violent element of it. His defense is on point. Very, very impressed with Strickland so far tonight. Now, that being said, Uriah Hall is anything but out of this fight. He's looking a little better here in round number 2. And we'll see how this one progresses. Jeff, you're about 10 seconds ahead of me, so I heard Jeff go, ooh, there. I'm waiting for what he was oohing about.
You'll see. It's Uriah took a kick directly to the cup. I mean, the replay shows it directly to the cup. He immediately fell to his knees. I mean, look, the Hall mixed it up right there. I felt like in the first round.
Dead on the money. Dead on balls.
Yeah. In the first round, Strickland took the fight to Hall. He was the one initiating the exchanges. And I feel like after Hall took that combination up against the fence and after they separated, he's decided to try to be the first. He's decided to take the fight to Strickland and make Strickland be the counter fighter. And it's working right now for Hall. We will see. We'll see.
And Hall really sweating, working hard in there. Strickland doesn't look like he's sweating much. His sweat glands are not super active in this fight. Uriah Hall working hard in there. So I have on my clock a little over 30 seconds remaining, and there's Hall attacking the lead leg of Strickland. See, that's what he should be doing, right? It's easy for me to be an armchair cornerman, but throw those leg kicks, hit him in the body. Throw those leg kicks, hit him in the body. Through the jab through there. Uriah Hall starting to feel really comfortable on the feet right now. You can almost sense the tide turning a little bit in this fight. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how Strickland reacts and adjust to the adjustments made by Uriah Primetime Hall. And that, of course, that nut shot was dead on. You didn't do it on purpose, but sometimes that happens. No. And, Uriah Hall with a side kick. Wow. Uriah Hall going ham at the end of this round. He really, all of a sudden, it's like he hit another gear. And, you pace yourself in a 5-round fight, but all of a sudden there in round 2, the urgency picked up a lot, and the speed and pace with which he fights, Uriah Hall really picked that up the second half of round 2. Question is, was it enough to steal that second round because we had it for Strickland early on? I'm glad I'm not a judge because I don't know how I would score round 2.
I think Strickland won that round. I think Hall took the momentum and ended the round stronger than Strickland. But I feel like Hall never overcame what Strickland did early in that round. I have it 2-0 right now, but this is a 5-round fight. And I do feel like Hall was too relaxed in the first round. That the way he looked from the second half of that second round on, that's the way I expected him to look this whole fight. Now he's fighting with some urgency. He's got some speed behind. He's got some zip behind his punches and everything. And like you said, he's mixing up the kicks. He's fighting the way we're used to seeing Uriah Hall fight. And maybe that's because he's taking Strickland's shot and he realizes I can get hit by this guy. Who knows? I don't know what Uriah Hall's thinking, but he's definitely picked up the pace and it's changed the momentum a little bit. I agree with your assessment, Jim.
Yeah, and ever since he went to Fortis MMA in 2019, I mean, he's been a completely different fighter. He's literally been a Uriah Hall 2.0. That was a great move for him in his career, and sometimes you see that, and we throw it around as fans a lot. Oh, this guy should go to a real gym. Conor McGregor should train with a real coach. Ronda Rousey should have gotten a real, you know what I mean? It's easy to fall into those traps and to say those things, and, whether you're right or you're wrong, but there's no denying that this move to go to Fortis MMA for Uriah Hall has paid off big time.
Yeah, and look, when we're talking about the biggest gyms and the best gyms in the world, they're not better than the others. Some of them are a better fit for you individually. And so
Yeah.
you could leave a great camp. You could leave one of the best gyms in the world and go to a different camp, and then that camp just suits you really well. I think that TJ Dillashaw leaving Alpha Male was sort of the same thing. Team Alpha Male is a great camp, an absolute great camp, but he found a better fit for him individually in Colorado. And so it just, I agree. And sometimes you get stagnant in where you are, and you need a change. Robbie Lawler, when he left Militich to go to America Top Team, changed his whole career. And Team Militich was a dominant camp in the sport in those days. So it just depends on what fits for you. But I agree with your assessment. Since he's left and gone to the new camp, he's a different fighter.
Yep, and that's not to say that King's MMA is not a great gym. It definitely is. Kelvin Gastelum, Jacare was there a long time. Verdum, that's a great gym.
Yeah.
What's his name? Benil Dariush just beat Tony Ferguson. Oh, nice takedown by Strickland. Look out, Uriah Hall. He's in trouble. Strickland just pounding away from top position, looking for the finish at the 3-minute mark of round number 3. Uriah Hall's in big trouble. Able to get back up to his feet. Man, Strickland just dropped him. And, I mean, you're talking about, like, literally it almost looked like a WWE or WWF when it was an old-school clothesline.
Yeah, he tripped him. Was able to it was a good little nice trip takedown. And then immediately when he hit the ground, he started grounding and pounding and landed a few shots, man. Hall he's up to his feet and not taking damage now. But, Strickland was a beast when he got it on the ground. So there was, like, no hesitancy to start throwing elbows and punches. Hall.
No, and he takes him down again against the cage. Yep. Takes him down again against the cage. He's fighting out of Syndicate MMA, grew up in Corona, California. Says he grew up in an abusive household. He's had a tough life. He got kicked out of every school he ever attended, started training MMA at 14, turned pro, Jeff, at 16 years old. In December 2018, he was hit by a car while riding a motorcycle in Los Angeles, got knocked out, had numerous injuries, needed a knee operation after that. So he's had a tough go of it. It has not been an easy road for Sean Strickland. And now he's again throws Uriah Hall to the ground. 145 and counting remaining in round number 3. Most dominating round so far for Sean Strickland, looking strong here in round number 3. On the feet, the takedowns on point. He looks like a guy who's on his way to a win here if Uriah Hall can't figure some shit out.
Yeah, I mean, once he got him down, Hall was able to get to his feet, but he couldn't shake Strickland off him. Strickland kept the pressure on him, didn't give Uriah Hall any space. He's got him back to the ground and back to doing what he does. Hall's just probably going to try to ride this round out without taking too much damage and see if he can't get something going in the 4th. But he's running out of time, because I agree, this is the most dominant round so far. And I feel like Hall lost rounds 1 and 2. And he definitely is losing this round. There's no question he lost round 1, and there's no question he lost this round. I don't think there's a question that he lost round 2, but that was definitely a much closer round.
Closer. I'm with you. I could understand if someone scored round 2 for Uriah Hall, but Strickland clearly won round 1, and here he's dominating this round. Still in top position, posturing up now with 40 seconds and counting, looking to get up on those knees and throw some strikes down. Uriah Hall gives up his back. And Strickland looking to take advantage of it here, looking to maybe work in for a rear naked choke. He's got the triangle almost locked in, got those feet together. He's got 20 seconds to work for a submission here. Uriah Hall just trying to survive. 15 seconds remaining in round number 3. Sean Strickland dominating this one on the ground in the 3rd round in the main event, UFC Fight Night in Vegas from the Apex. 5, 4, 3, 2, and Uriah Hall will survive to round number 4.
Look, that was a smart gameplay. As soon as Hall started getting his striking going, and you and I were talking about the momentum change, Strickland, Hall made the adjustment of picking up the pace and being more aggressive and taking the fight to Strickland. Then Strickland made the adjustment to Hall's adjustment by taking the fight to the ground. This is a great fight so far. Strickland's definitely winning it, but I've enjoyed watching the momentum change and how each of them have had to make adjustments in the fight, and both of them worked.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, the Bellator card's going on right now too. And, I'm just looking at some of the highlights, and, not a lot of strikes landing in close for either guy, but Uriah Hall missed with a big right, and then Strickland just took the opportunity, like you said, tripped him, and then just threw him down, chest to chest, and then a couple more takedowns later in the round, and they did bump heads, but that was a terrific job by Strickland to take the fight where the pace of the fight and the sequence of the fight dictated that he take the fight. One thing that's really Jeff, and for those of you watching, stay within the flow of the fight and make the right move at the right time. Fundamentally, Strickland does a great job of not just asserting himself in the fight, but of adapting to what's happening in the fight and going with it. And that was a perfect example there. This wasn't a fight that was expected to end up on the ground, but the opportunity presented himself. He scores 3 takedowns in round number 3.
Yeah, I think it was smart, and it keeps Hall honest. Like I said, Hall was having success on his feet for a minute, and Strickland takes him down, and now Hall has to think about the takedown and think about the striking. So he added a little wrinkle to Hall. I mean, Hall made an adjustment. That's what I think's been the coolest thing about this fight is that Strickland was landing his jab, having success. Hall made the adjustment, and then Strickland adjusted to that, and now we are in the 4th round, and we're going to see Hall's going to have to come up with something. Hall's going to come. He has to come up with something, or he's losing this fight by unanimous decision. If not, going to get finished.
Yeah, and if you see it in the comments from Scott Peterson on site in Vegas, we will keep running into the post-fight press conference here tonight. So Jeff and I will keep it live all the way through to the end. We're still waiting to hear from Cheyenne Bays, her first UFC win. TKO, 1 minute of round number 1, the head kick and punches against Gloria De Paula. A great win for Cheyenne Bays, whose husband JP is also a UFC fighter, was in her corner tonight. So we'll hear from her. And then the winner of this one, Uriah Hall, primetime against Sean Strickland. I like the double jab from Uriah Hall, Jeff. Whenever he's used that in this fight, it's been pretty effective to keep Strickland off him. But the gas tank, the cardio, it's just the speed of Strickland. I'm very excited to see his development because every single time out, he gets better and better. He looks really comfortable in there tonight against a very, very good opponent. Uriah Hall, as good as almost anybody in the division on his feet. And Sean Strickland is outclassing him here tonight. Very impressive performance so far. We hit the 3-minute mark of round number 4 in our main event from the Apex in Vegas. Uriah Hall fighting an uphill battle now against Sean Strickland, number 8 and number 11 in the middleweight division.
Yeah, Hall, listen, this is where cardio is going to come into play. And so whichever one of them fades is going to be devastating if one does. Neither one of them might fade. Right now, it looks like Strickland's output has slowed just a little bit, but Hall's not really taking much advantage of it. And so I don't know. This is a really close round, though, this round. But Hall's got to do something to make Strickland gas. You gotta pressure a guy and put him against the fence, make him wear on him, take him down or whatever. This pace of the fight, I don't see he's going to wear the most energy Strickland has exerted was when he went for the takedowns last round. Hall is landing to the body, thoh. Hall is landing to the body. As he was nominated to fight.
He is. Yep. We're talking about the body shots or body shot. Definitely making a point to continuously go downstairs right now.
Yeah, and that might pay dividends here anytime. Who knows, man? Body shots suck, though. That's that I can attest to. I'd much rather you hit me in the head than hit me in the body, but that's just me. And I guess it depends on who you are, right?
Yeah, the body shots are brutal. What a good night, by the way, for Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Eagle. Of course, he's retired, man, but his guys are doing well in Bellator tonight. Hassan Magomed-Shapirov with a TKO over Jonathan Quiros. And then you got Usman Nurmagomedov, a TKO over Manny Muro. So the Eagle is landing at Bellator 163 or 263. And, of course, you got the co-main coming up with Mads Burnell and Emmanuel Sanchez. And then Patricio Pitbull Freire against AJ McKee at featherweight. The Grand Prix finale, Jeff, $1 million on the line. Meanwhile, in the octagon from Vegas, under a minute left, and Strickland starting to land on Hall, goes in and picks up another takedown. He's stealing this round. What a job by Strickland. That was impressive how quick he got in there. Landed a couple of shots, got really aggressive, went right in for the takedown. And Uriah Hall, once again, has Sean Strickland on his back.
Yeah, Strickland did a good job. Like I said, Hall was having good success this round, and then Strickland landed a big left hand, and then took it to him and took him down. Hall he's able to get up, and they're separated now. But I agree. I think that maybe Strickland is still in the round unless Hall does something here in the closing moments.
15 seconds left in round number 4. Uriah Hall coming forward. You get that 10-second tap right there. So you like to see both guys really throw with a lot of volume to finish the round strong. Good jab by Hall. A right hand grazes Strickland. He misses with a wild right and a wild left, and the round's at its end. So round 4 in the books. We're going to the 5th and final round in our main event, which is interesting in and of itself. Not a lot of fighting done on this card tonight. I mean, we had some TKOs and KOs with not a lot of time gone by, but man, the main event, two solid fighters, number 8 and number 11 at middleweight, Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland. I'd have to say, Jeff, right now for me, Strickland has all 4 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Maybe Hall might have one round. I don't know which one that would be, but I'll just give him one judge a leeway of throwing it up 3-1 right now. But there's no question that Strickland's in complete control of this fight. Uriah Hall needs a finish. He needs a finish or like a 10-7 round here. And if it's a 10-7 round, it should have been stopped. So your Hall needs a finish. Let's see if he fights.
He has a cut above the. You're right, Jeff. Sorry to interrupt you. He has a cut above his left eye, too. His face is showing a lot of wear and tear from Sean Strickland's hands tonight. Very impressive. Quicker, I'm sure, than most people thought. Very accurate with his striking. The jab started right from the beginning of the fight, getting through the guard of Uriah Hall, who just missed with a big-time right. I mean, that was close. You talk about chin music. That was a Nolan Ryan fastball right under the teeth right there. But he missed with it. And now Strickland, he's comfortable backing up and throwing counters, but Uriah Hall definitely coming out aggressive, and I couldn't hear what his corner said to him, but obviously it had something to do with, hey, you better get going, man. Throw everything you have at him right now because you're losing this fight unless you finish him.
Yeah, I didn't hear his corner either. Hopefully that's what they said, because that's what he needed.
Don't need live scoring for that. Yeah.
If I'm in his corner, the only thing I'm saying to him is, Uriah, you have to have a finish. Look me in the eye. Do you understand me? You need a finish. That's it. I don't think I need to say anything else to him.
No. And of course, though, when you start to get like that, Jeff, and you start to come at him and look for a finish, you get more aggressive, you get a little bit more reckless, you open yourself up a little bit more. So it's a great opportunity for Strickland to get a finish on a counter. So I'd say definitely, minimum 3-1 Strickland. At worst case for Uriah Hall, it's 4-zip, but it doesn't matter whether it's 3-1 or 4-zip is irrelevant because Hall still needs a finish to get the win.
Yeah, and it's probably 4-0. I just said 3-1 because some judge is going to give one of the rounds to Uriah Hall. Do. But yeah, if the scorecard had my name on it, it'd be 4-0 for Sean Strickland. I think that what Strickland is with me, and why
Uriah Hall. Here, Strickland. Sorry, Jeff, we broke up for a second.
Yeah, I realized that. Strickland just looks so relaxed and nonchalant in the pocket, and it's deceptive. And I think that maybe that's why I picked Hall to win this. I say that he stands in front of you a lot, but he doesn't stand in front of you doing nothing. He stands in front of you and he's throwing jabs and he's coming forward. So Strickland's better than I thought he was. Honestly, he's proved a little something tonight.
Yeah, me too. No doubt. He's a lot better than I thought he was. And I knew he was good, but I didn't think he would. I thought Uriah Hall had a little bit of an advantage on the feet here, but Strickland has been the quicker fighter. He's been ahead of him the whole time, one step ahead. The jab was getting through from the beginning. He's been able to push him up against the fence and win that. He's been able to take him down on the ground and win that. So he's really outclassed Uriah Hall in every facet of the fight here tonight. And that being said, that's not a knock on Hall. Strickland is right now getting so much better every fight. And, Jeff, this is the best I've seen him. And he just keeps improving. I'm anxious to see what the second half of the year holds in store for him and going into next year, because we're looking at a guy who, if he keeps improving at this rate with his ability to do what he's done against a striker like Uriah Hall, I mean, there aren't many strikers in the division who are better than Uriah Hall. And look what Strickland's doing here. Very impressive.
Yeah, the only stat that Hall's winning is the body punches. That's it.
Yeah.
The other ones are heavily, which makes sense. He's mixing it up and kind of going to the body. But Strickland, what's impressed me the most with him is how smart that he's fought this fight. He's fought a very
114 head
fight.
strikes, Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry, 114 head strikes for Strickland. That's a lot. This just in. What did Calvin Kattar take? 400 plus against Max Holloway, though? How many was that? You remember?
I do not remember, but it was an asinine amount of
asinine,
damage, man.
Tough dude.
Crazy.
What a tough dude. But yeah, no, Strickland, now he's got Hall up against the fence again. Hall's bleeding. His face is beaten up. Strickland's just nasty, man. He's burying that shaved head with the spiky hair under the chin again, into the neck, into the face. You're already bleeding. You already got sweat in your eyes. And this guy's there grinding his head against you, throwing body shots at the same time. Man, Strickland's mean. This dude's nasty. He's got another level of mean in there. And sometimes you need that. He's throwing knees now, just looking dirty in there against Uriah Hall. That's why I love Muay Thai. I love the clench. I love it when you go chest to chest, face to face up against the cage. And, man, they're separated now with 40 seconds left. Uriah Hall better pull one out of his hat here toward the end of this fight because that's his only shot. But now he's throwing wild punches that are missing by a mile. And with 30 seconds left, Sean Strickland in cruise control toward the end of this fight.
Oh, yeah.
And all he's got to do is tie him up against the cage, and it's over. 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah. It's over for the most part. Strickland's smart. He tied him up. Hall got wild because he needed to. And then, he just got desperate, and Strickland was smart. Clinched him up. That head fight.
Ooh, spinning elbow. Nice job, Strickland. He's going to finish with another. Oh, a knee to the face. Strickland getting nasty toward the end of this fight. All the way to the final. Final, not bell, final buzzer or horn or whatever you want to call it, but the official decision coming up. Very impressive, Jeff. Dominating performance by Sean Strickland. Tarzan with a just tremendous overall performance from beginning to end against Uriah Hall. Every single round, I don't think Uriah. The second, Strickland just put the rest of the middleweight division on notice. Hey, guys, I'm coming, and I'm coming hard and strong because he's at number 11 right now, Jeff. But when I look at that top 10 and I look at some of the strikers, you got Edmund Shabazian in there. Speaking of fighters from Armenia, we had one earlier. You got Kelvin, who's going to fight Cannonier. Great opportunity for him. But after that, you got Darren Till's got a fight coming up. You got Brunson, of course, got that fight coming up. You got Hermanson, who he could fight. Vittori dropped to number 4. But Strickland's going to get a pretty good name next time out. And that's going to be where we really find out. But so far, so good. He's passed every test, and he just absolutely obliterated Uriah Hall here tonight.
Yeah, he beat him in every facet of the game, and he did it smart. He fought intelligent. When Hall found his range and started opening up with the strikes, he took him down. There late in the fight, when Hall got desperate and was looking for a finish, he closed the distance, clinched him up, and stayed out of danger. He just fought a very, very intelligent fight, and the jab was on point. And you were bringing up that head fighting. That's largely, a lot of people don't appreciate that. You see boxing do that a lot, and like you brought up, Muay Thai fighters, you could control a guy's entire posture with your head. It's something that a lot of people don't point out, or even the commentators point out. But there's an art to that, and Sean Strickland is extremely good at it.
Yeah, here's the official decision. I'm going to see if I can hear the scores.
Okay.
Scorecards, here are the total.
So, clearly it went to Strickland unanimous decision. We just don't know what the official scorecards are. Jim's going to come back and name that. Impressive performance by Strickland. He just looks so comfortable in there that I think that's what makes me nervous about him. He's just so just not rattled, man. He's just so composed, and I didn't read that right before watching his earlier fights. I thought that you could get to him by beating him to the punches and stuff and winning the exchanges. But that jab is so on point. It's unreal. It's straight. He puts it out there. He beats you to the punch. Strickland looked great tonight.
Yeah, he did, Jeff. And Felder's talking to him right now. I'm going to try to hear who he calls out. And it's 50-44, 50-45, but one judge had it 49-46, right on the button, Jeff Cain. You were right. But 50-44, there was a 10-8 round for one judge. 50-45, traditional across the board, won every round by another judge. And then one judge gave Uriah Hall one of those rounds with a 49-46.
Yeah, and I bet it was the fourth round there that was kind of close to even, and then I was like, I don't know. I think this round's really even. Now, Strickland did score a takedown late. Either that or the second round, where Strickland had the early success and Hall came back and kind of took the momentum. There's the only two rounds you could even, if you told me any other round, I would laugh at you. At those two rounds, I still don't agree with you, but I'm not going to laugh in your face about it. I'm just going to say that I think you're wrong.
Okay. No, and I'm listening to Strickland out of one ear, and I'm excited for him, man. That's a great win. But you know what he just said? As long as I have that logo under my feet and I'm fighting, I don't care who. I'd probably be, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I'd probably be making meth in a trailer in jail if it wasn't for fighting in the UFC. It gives me purpose. I love that. I'm all about that. And that purpose is leading him down a path that is going to lead to, and he wants to get paid, make money. He's going to make a bunch of money. He's going to get a big fight next time out, Jeff. Sean Strickland for sure earning a good one. He's got pin accuracy. Takedowns were on point tonight. Impressive performance and win. And I think right now we're going to get another fighter to the podium, which would be Cheyenne Bays, who defeated Gloria De Paula by TKO, head kick and punches at 1 minute of round number 1 in the co-main event, which now seems like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. But we had 3 fights in a row, and very quickly by TKO and KO. 3 in a row in the middle of this card. We opened up with a fight of the night for Witt and Barbarina. I don't think Strickland and Hall was a better fight than that, but I would definitely, Strickland deserves a bonus. Bays deserves a bonus. Gooden, Bagdasarian, they deserve bonuses. You could make a case for Witt and Barbarina. You could make a case for Grieshaber and Garcia. And Phil Rowe missed weight, so he doesn't get one. But who do you give the bonuses to? And Dana's not there to go handing them out like candy on Christmas either.
Yeah, I give the bonuses to the 4 finishes. Rowe can't get one, so that throws that into, I don't know. I don't know. I think the 3 finishes deserve bonuses, but then if you give a fight of the night and then that's 5 bonuses, they usually only give out 4. So I don't know. If Dana were there, Dana would probably do that, like give out 5 bonuses.
Yep.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure, man. Like I said,
you think he's watching from the yacht?
Yeah, he's watching. He's getting that satellite piped in.
He can't not watch. He has to watch. He's probably paying like 25 grand to watch it on satellite.
Yeah, there's no telling. But I feel like the 3 finishes in a row, the head kick, man, was so clean. The punch from Gooden was so just dropped him like he'd been shot. And then Baez, man, that head kick as that girl was standing up was friggin' brutal. I'd have a hard time not giving all 3 of those a bonus. But if you do that, there's usually no fight of the night, and then you got to give another bonus to somebody, and there's no other finishes other than Rowe, who is ineligible. That's crazy. Here we are at the end of this fight, and the biggest controversy is who the hell do you give the last bonus to?
It's crazy. What an unbelievable performance by Cheyenne Bays tonight, or Cheyenne Bays, excuse me. Almost fell down that trap.
Oh,
it's
bad.
B-Y-S, but it's
Bays.
Bays.
I said Bays. Yeah.
And her husband JP's a UFC fighter too. They want to fight on the same card at some point. In the UFC, Jared Gooden in the UFC was making his UFC debut. In fact, Jason Witt, who fought Brian Barbarina and got a big win tonight, was coming off a brutal loss of his own where Matthew Semmelsberger knocked him out at 16 seconds of round number 1. So just a nice job by Witt to bounce back. First-time victors in the octagon, Bagdasarian, Gooden, and Bays, and Grieshaber, who had all in his camp and he's going in the right direction. If you like those redemption stories, Jeff, and you like those feel-good stories, UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Hall was the fight card for you.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of good storylines, there. But people moving to America, people getting their life. It was basically admitted to being homeless last year and whatever, and got taken in, and now his life is rebuilt. As you brought up, the main event, he said if it wasn't for fighting, he'd probably be in prison. That was a good feel-good night. And look, if it wasn't for MMA, I would probably be in prison. So I'll put that out there too. Thank you, MMA.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, hey, why not? There's a lot of stories like that, and I want to say one thing about Bellator. You're not doing yourself any favors not being on free, because not a lot of people are trying to watch anyway, so you should be on free TV. Just my 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one to sit there and say they shouldn't take money, but, I mean, when you're playing catch-up and you're never going to catch the lead dog, and my philosophy is always there's the NFL and there's nothing else. There's the NBA, and there's nothing else. In the fight game, that's not necessarily true because Bellator, PFL, you're going to see some real good fighters, some quality fights. You got McKee and Pitbull in a $1 million fight tonight. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but nowhere to be found unless I'm paying for Showtime, which I'm not, and I won't.
Yeah, or streams, yeah, which is illegal, so I don't do that. But yeah, look, they signed on with Showtime, and and it's Showtime boxing. I think it wasn't a bad move for Bellator, but yeah, man, free TV is better, but it depends on the network. The UFC's been with tons of networks. They outgrew Spike, they outgrew Fox, in my opinion, and now we're coming close to the end of the ESPN era, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. Whether they're going to re-up with them or where they're going to end up. I always thought that the UFC would end up having their own network. Like,
that's
where
it's headed.
Yeah,
that's where
I've
it's
always
headed.
felt it was headed. Yeah. I mean, with Fight Pass and then ESPN Plus, it's pretty much that way now, in a way. But it's just not all under one umbrella. And I feel like that's where all sports are going to go. I feel like where TVs are going to be a thing. Well,
a la carte.
Yeah, exactly. A la carte on my menu. What am I going to watch today? And I'm going to pay for it. And that's just how TV is going to be in the future. I feel like. I mean, I'm not Nostradamus or anything, but
no, and I love. Well, you could be though. You didn't get that kind of clarity when you were in those Red Rocks, Jeff. I mean, I feel like people come out of places like that, and you got like that Yoda type clarity after a weekend spent.
Nostradamus and I have this. We do share the same birthday.
Really?
But that guy was on. Yeah, he was on way more drugs than I would ever even entertain.
Cain Stradamus.
Looking into his little bowl of water. But yeah, that's where I feel like it's going. And so I don't know. Showtime's out there. ONE FC's growing big. When you look at the numbers, international numbers and social media footprint, ONE FC's the one that's growing the fastest. And making up ground on the UFC, but
Combate's doing well.
Yeah, but their markets, their region. I don't want to say regional markets. And one of them is an Asian market, and the other one is a Hispanic market. And they were smart in doing that.
Yep.
Where the UFC
in their
can't
niche.
compete with the UFC on the international level, but you can absolutely compete with the UFC in Japan and in Brazil and in Mexico and other places. You absolutely can, and even beat them. But you can't do it internationally like that. And so I agree with what you're saying about Bellator. I like Bellator. I think that Bellator. I think fighters like Bellator because it gives them an opportunity. It gives the Bader. It gives the Ryan Bader a second chance, right? That was a guy who had a great. Now he's had a whole secondary career, making probably more money than he did when he was in the UFC, and so it's good to have that outlet. And then you see people go to the PFL for that $1 million run at the season. And stuff. So I think it's great to have as much MMA as possible, but nobody's running down the UFC right now. But I will say this. When Dana White retires, there's going to be a huge opportunity for an organization to step up. That's my opinion. And we may be a day away from that, or we may be a decade or 20 years. Who knows? But I feel like when Dana finally retires, the UFC is going to drop a little bit because he's such a face of it. But that's neither here nor there. The UFC is the top dog in the damn world. The other guys are just trying to get their piece of the pie, and they're doing a pretty damn good job of it.
Yeah, and I feel like I am. I literally feel like I'm almost feeling like an asshole here because I just clicked on start your free trial. And I have to work too hard to get the trial, so I'm not going to do it. I have to go to a link. I have to enter a code. No, thank you. Sorry, too much effort. And I love Pitbull. I want to watch my guy Pitbull tonight, but I'll see you later. Now, I mean, he's got AJ McKee tonight, and obviously he's coming up. He's coming up. He won the featherweight semifinal against Darian Caldwell. Pitbull can fight at 45. Fighter. To stake that claim as the best 45er in the world. Volkanovski and Ortega coming up for the UFC. And by the way, check out my interview with T-City on MMA Weekly, talking about that fight, talking about coaching tough against Volkanovski, where he thinks he stands worldwide on that in that weight class. But Darian Caldwell was a favorite in that fight against McKee. McKee's now 17-0, submitted Caldwell with a neck crank. He's had some really big wins, and Caldwell's the biggest one. The Wolf Darian Caldwell, former, I believe, national champion wrestler out of North Carolina State University, used to train at Power MMA with Ryan Bader and all those guys when I was over there. But that's the main event coming up. But the co-main event winner from UFC Fight Night in Vegas, Cheyenne Bays, picked up her first UFC win, TKO over
in the
Gloria
octagon.
DePaula.
I'm sure it's still
Here
probably
she
setting
is
in a little
from
bit,
Vegas in the
what's-
interview room.
What's the emotion like for you right now?
I just found out 2 seconds ago I got performance of the night. So, yeah, it's pretty surreal. 7 weeks ago, I decided to make a big risk and just ditch my house and everything in it in Dallas, Texas, and I came here with my animals and my husband, and we have one vehicle. We packed up our car with one suitcase. We came here. We didn't have a house. We had nothing. I had to get a loan just to get a house. And I knew coming in here tonight that my whole paycheck was just going to go back to that loan. And, I took a big risk to get a big reward. And, I can't thank my team, my husband, my family, because, they were the ones that said, listen, you're going to have to go broke for a little bit just to get something good out of this. And I knew I had to do it. And, man, I just feel so happy.
It's awesome. It's funny because when we talked to you beforehand, it's like, yeah, I decided to relocate, move back here. These people. It sounded like a very well thought out, very, Now in hearing this, was this just like a spur of the moment type thing?
I wanted to move back to Vegas a long time ago, but trying to leave Dallas, Texas was a little difficult because, Safe was like, listen, stay, try to stick it out. But, that place wasn't my home. I missed my team. I missed Extreme Couture. I owe everything to them and my husband because when I came to them, I was an amateur, and they were the ones that built me from the ground up, I felt like, and to come in here and make that walk with them, I told them I could be in the worst shape possible, but knowing I got my boys back behind me, I felt unstoppable. It didn't really matter who was put in front of me. It's just, this is a mental warfare in that cage. And tonight I just told myself for the first time, I don't want to fight for 15 minutes. I don't get paid per minute. I want to go in there and I just want to get the job done and I want to go home to my family. And yeah, I did it, man. Feels good.
You didn't want to go 15 minutes. I mean, maybe you thought. Did you know it would be that explosive? Like maybe we won't even go 1 minute?
Listen, my coaches told me my kicks are deadly. And, my last coach was more boxing dominant. But I grew up in Taekwondo. My kicks are lethal, and I've always known it. But, when you go to a gym and you have a coach that's, strict on one style, that's the style you kind of have to do because that's your team, And when I came back to Extreme, they're like, listen, you're a kickboxer. You've been doing this your whole entire life. We got to use your kicks. My last fight, I didn't really get to show that, I didn't get to show shit. I didn't get to show much. I got headlocked forever, and it was embarrassing. I had to deal with it. I had to deal with the trolls. I had to deal with being known as the headlock girl. And I told my husband leading into this fight, I said, I can die, and I will not die knowing I am that headlock girl. I will not die knowing I'm 0-1 in the UFC. A 1-1 is a lot better than 0-2. And so tonight is just, I think, the start to my new chapter.
So the one thing I want to ask, the high kick or the kick lands, right? And we all go, wow, but then we all say, oh my God, was her hand still down? Was she still a downed opponent? So did it cross your mind at all that like, oh my God, that might have been an illegal kick?
Not one bit. God was with me all the way. That was God's timing. It was close, but guess what? It was legal.
It was. Replay showed it was legal. So last thing for me then, obviously this is a big moment. I mean, we see the emotion clearly. We know what it's worth. Do you need some time now to reset your life and kind of like, resettle things here? Or is this like straight back to the gym and book something right away? I got to imagine you're feeling pretty healthy right now.
I'll be back in the gym Monday. I'm ready to go at all times. My weight's always good. I'm always training year round. I don't believe in this whole bullshit train when you got to fight. I'm a martial artist. This is what I love to do. I love to fight, So Mick has my number. If there's a fight that gets pulled out, and doesn't matter to me. I'm not the one to call anyone out. I just want to fight. When, anytime, anywhere, anyone.
Sharon, I think sometimes, because we talk to fighters every week, we sometimes forget how much a difference that 50 grand can make to your life. What impact is that going to have on you?
I am negative in my account right now, so it's going to make a big difference. And my whole paycheck actually is I have to pay back $15,000 for a loan I got from a few people. So, I made 10 and 10 from my win and show, so that 20,000 was just gone. So, and I was okay with it. I was okay if I won and that check was gone, because I made the move out here, and I knew that this fight was just going to be for the move, but it was the best decision me and my husband made for our careers, and just to get that bonus. I've been so broke my whole life because of this sport, but it's so worth it to me because I love this sport. But to get a $50,000 paycheck, my husband's going to tell me to put it away. I'm definitely going to want to buy some nice stuff, but, I like to buy a little bit of things for the house and for my animals. I really like to spoil my family, but, this week I'm definitely taking my team to go get a nice dinner. So it's life-changing for sure, but I just, got to put the money away and just go out there and fight again.
Is it reassuring now knowing that you won't be the headlock girl but the head kick girl?
Listen, the past is the past. You're only as good as your last fight. So if they want to think of me as the head kick girl, that's a lot better than the headlock girl. So I'm all right with that.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Jan. I guess kind of talk a little bit more about being home with your family, with Eric Nixick. Just kind of talk a little bit more about that. Eric Nixick, Dennis Davis, Ray Sefo, those are my men. Of course, my husband's my man, but I mean for the fight game. I came to them, like I said the other day, I came to them back when I was 20 years old. I think I just turned 20. I was a child, wasn't even legal to go buy alcohol, So when I came to them, I had a lot of growing up to do. I had a lot of learning to do. I still have a lot of learning to do. But when I left the team, I called Eric and I called Ray and I said, listen, I'm going to venture off to Africa to see if things will work out with this man. And, I took a big risk and I got a big reward. I made a husband out of it. I made a life out of that. But when I came back to the States, I knew it was a slap in the face to them that I never went back there. I had to go to Dallas for visa purposes, but, after my last fight, I just followed my heart. There was something in me that just said, listen, you just need to pack up, you need to go, and you just need to do what your heart tells you to do. And if there's anyone out there that ever is scared to take a big risk, don't be scared, just do it, because there's big rewards that come out of it. You said, previously that, you were 0-4 as an amateur and you went to them and then you went on a run and then you were 0-1 in the UFC and you came back to them and now are you going to go on a run? I was 0. I went on a 3-fight losing streak when I came to them. The three losses were very close decisions and I knew I was missing something and it was wrestling. So when I came to them, Dennis Davis, he instilled wrestling in me. We went just back to basics, we went on a 4-fight winning streak as amateurs. I met Ray Sefo. The funny way I met Ray Sefo was, I was just a little girl in the gym. I was always there, and every time I was watching Ray Sefo hold pads for like Brad Tavares or something, I would just stand in the back and I would just shadow box whatever he was coaching. And one day Ray was like, hey, come, let's move around. And I'll never forget the first time he held pads for me. He told me to do one thing and I did it. And when he saw that and he saw the passion I had and how much I wanted to learn, he started training me for free as an amateur. And I couldn't believe that this legend, kickboxing legend, just wanted to train me. And then he started cornering me with Dennis, and Coach Follis was also at the team. Unfortunately, may he rest in peace. But all those boys, they really took me under their wing at such a young age. And tonight, to make the walk with them, I looked at all my boys, all 3 of them, and I said, damn, you guys look good tonight. I was like, I am ready to make this walk with you guys. And it took 1 minute to get the job done, and it just felt so good.
just very happy to be back here.
You said on Thursday that you are a main card fighter. I mean, you proved it, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
And you know, this building has been kind of, you know, your journey so far, right? You won your contract here, then you lost here, and then you got your win back here. Is it safe to assume that maybe your next fight you want to be on a pay-per-view, not a main card, prelims, but in front of fans?
My style, if you saw, as soon as I walked in the cage, I'm over there fucking hyping people up. That's my style. That's what I do. I love to fight. I love to get dirty. I like to entertain, you know? So whether I'm on a fight night or if I'm on a pay-per-view, I don't care. As long as there's people. I mean, if there's not people, shit, it's all right. But I definitely enjoyed having a few people in the crowd. When I looked over, I saw my friends in there. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not losing. I was like, all right. I was like, let's do this, you know? I'm always in the zone, but I let the crowd get involved, you know? That they're here to watch a show, you know? And that's, I always said, we're not just fighters, we're entertainers.
Finally, for me, you were booked against Kay Hansen last year. Would you like to fight her next?
Again, like I've said to you guys, I don't call anyone out, but actually me and Kay have been seeing each other at the PI and stuff, and you know, she's going through a lot of health problems, so no, because she's not even ready to fight yet. So I wish her still a speedy recovery. She's still in the process of it. I see her all the time at the PI. I don't even know if her next fight will be at 15, because I don't even want to talk about her problems, because that's what she can talk about, but I do know she's still recovering. So, and me and her actually have spoke that we will fight each other one day, but when timing is right, you know, she had to go through a lot of blood work and a lot of testing, you know. She pulled out for health reasons, and she's still going through that. So whenever she's back to it, we'll see each other. You know, I really respect Kay, and I just want to see her healthy.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, nice job, Cheyenne Bays. Real as it gets up there. How about that, Jeff Cain? Broke, in debt, taking a loan to move back home to Vegas to go back to Extreme Couture with, as she calls it, her family. And I know the gym and her to be in debt. Her to okay, even was eaten up on this fight. For someone like her to get a $50,000, and this is not me whining about fighter pay. She's barely in the UFC. I believe you got to earn it, and I believe she did tonight. She's going to make a lot more money moving forward, but when you're broke and you got nothing, just think about this for 1 second. You've devoted your life to this sport. You're broke. You've moved around. You're barely surviving. Your husband's a fighter too. You got one car, and you win $50,000 based on your performance in that octagon. That is literally one of the most amazing things, and one of the great. I can never get tired, Jeff, of stories like that. Good job, Cheyenne Bays. Good job, anybody out there who fights through that kind of adversity, to continue doing what you love, because when you do that, you get paid in something that's much more important than money. You get paid in love that's inside your heart for what you do. So when you stick with that, and look at her hugging her husband now, there's JP, that's badass right there. There's Eric Nixick from Extreme Couture. And that's what this sport, to me, Jeff, is all about right there. Cheyenne Bays, good job on her part tonight.
Yeah, and that's why I like to see the bonuses go to preliminary fighters. Now, she's clearly was the co-main event tonight, but she's not a co-main event fighter, right? That was her second fight in the UFC after losing her first one. But she made the most of it. She went from making $20,000 to making $70,000. You know, and look, man. I know. And
she was only guaranteed 10.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, to be realistic, look, this is not an easy road. To be a mixed martial artist is not an easy road for anybody. Yes, Conor McGregor's really rich and stuff today, but he was not. He walked a crazy path to get to where he is, man. And props to her.
It might be longer than you want to be popular. It seems like things are going well, man. To talk about the field.
Here we're going to go back to the podium, Jeff, and we got Sean Strickland victorious over Uriah Hall.
I mean, I feel like I
in our main event.
Harder. Kind of hit like a pansy, you know. Kind of sucked. They're like, you won the middleweight striking record. It's like, what does that mean? I just can't hit that hard.
That's funny. That's a funny way to put it, actually. Well, talk about, like, you know, how things played out versus your expectation. I mean, it looked like a Sean Strickland fight out there, right? You were doing what you do, but, I mean, did anything he do surprise you at all, or was different than you expected at all?
You know, it's funny. He didn't scare me. Like, nobody scares me, but I trained with Uriah for a lot of years, and I gave him a lot of respect with his speed, his timing. It's kind of weird. You're going out there, I'm like hitting, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm better than you, you know. And it was kind of cool because you have to understand, Uriah's a guy that I kind of looked up to coming up. You know, he's about 7 years older. Happy birthday, Uriah! Today's his birthday, I believe. So he's a guy I looked up to, and going into that fight, it kind of meant something to me. You know, he's also a guy that you don't really feel too great about beating just because you like him.
Was it a difficult mental challenge, like having yourself in the right mindset as you went in there based on those things?
Oh, no, it's funny. The moment he said yes to the fight, I hit him on Instagram. I was like, dude, I got to block you. Like, I got to learn to hate you a little bit. I got to want to hurt you, you know? Like, I got to put some distance between me and your friendship. But, yeah, he's a savage.
Yeah. In round one, like, you started very quickly. I mean, you were absolutely dominant. And then it seems like at the start of, like, round 2, round 3, round 4, he was having moments to start.
Yeah.
But then you finished strong every single round. So those moments where he was starting to do good things, was it throwing you off at all? Or?
No, like, they're just flurries of, like, showmanship of, like, I'm going to throw hard to the body. And then once I started kind of walking into him and really seeing that there was just nothing left in the tank, the dog was gone, it was like, okay, this is my fight to win.
Were you surprised he didn't use more low kicks? I mean, he kicked the leg a couple times, but I don't know. It felt like maybe he could go to that more.
I checked a couple of them that kind of like, I think it stung a little bit, you know. He was getting flashbacks of the old champion, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Weidman?
Weidman, yeah, again, Weidman flashbacks. No, I don't really watch UFC. I don't mean to insult you, Weidman, your broken leg, but, you know, I just...
Was there a point that you know for sure? I mean, you mentioned like in the end, like it was just gone. I mean, was there a point in the fight you were like, oh, I know this is my fight, and the danger was gone?
You know, I think I might have broke his orbital just because in the second round, he was blinking and rubbing his eyes, and someone who broke their orbital, I'm like, oh, yeah, I probably broke his orbital. It was honestly a testament to see somebody who was probably fighting with one eye finish a fight like that, so, yeah.
I know you don't get excited about rankings and anything and all that, but I mean, a win in a UFC main event, you know, you kind of joke about I'll get to be popular for one more fight or whatever, but I mean, is this an accomplishment in your career to get to this level?
No, I mean, it is what it is. I've been training for so long. It's what it is, man. There's always going to be another killer. I'm going to fight somebody in a few more months. I might win. I might get knocked out. Like, I just like to fight. I like making money. If I go somewhere with it, great. If not, you know, what did Derek Lewis say? What was his last quote about, if you let me run the division, you guys should all retire or something? I love Derek Lewis. He's the man. But, yeah, I'm just happy to be here, man.
That's funny. Have you enjoyed the attention this week? I mean, like I said, it always seems like you hate doing media and hate doing all this stuff, but I think people have enjoyed your personality.
You know, I like it, but it's such like, you should never enjoy fame because it's fake. Like, it's fucking fake. You know, there was a point Uriah Hall was in every interview, every media, Uriah Hall, and now it's like, you know, he's on the twilight of his career, he's getting older. It's like, it's just bullshit. You guys, I mean, you know, I like you guys all, but, you know, it's all bullshit. You guys know this.
I know, like you said, you don't really care who you fight, but are there any matchups that intrigue you? Because you're getting to the point now where I mean, not that you'll call people out. I know you'll fight anybody, but are there certain matchups you think, that's a fight I've always
I know like 2 names in the top 10, Brad Tavares, because we trained together, and Israel Adesanya. So, I mean, I don't really watch fighting, man. I like to do it.
So should we make the headline, you call out teammate and
yeah,
champ?
Brad Tavares, fuck you, no. No. Brad Tavares has a good overhand. He might knock me out, fucking Brad.
Last thing for me, I know you don't care who you fight, but when? Do you know? I mean, how's your body feeling?
I feel good, man. My buddy Aaron Jeffries, he's on the contenders, and man, he deserves to be in. So I'm gonna just put all my attention and focus on him, getting him ready for his fight, and then after that, we'll just start working back into it. You know, because he's fighting a very specialist striker that's going to require me to be somebody I'm not for the next 5 weeks.
So, Sean, I know you say you don't care about winning the title and stuff, but is there a part of you that would find it fun to be the champion, to see how the UFC could promote someone who says some of the things that you get to say?
God, no, the UFC is I'm probably the last person that was a champion. So, Sean, what do you think about the UFC? I mean, it's cool, man. They pay me well. You know, it's cool, yeah. No, I'm the last one. They probably want to be the champion.
And are you say that you enjoy doing this. Is it nice to not provide the meth community with another?
Oh, man, it's funny. I've actually never done a drug in my life. I just think that, if I do drugs, I'll probably end up losing my fucking mind. So I stay away from it. I think after I'm done fighting, though, I'm gonna go on a shroom journey. Everybody swears by shrooms, you know. My pad man, he's always trying to take me on a shroom journey. So maybe after I'm done fighting, you know, well, I don't know if I'll go meth, maybe acid or something.
It's funny because at the beginning of that, I was like, oh, look, he's actually being a positive role model. But then you managed.
No, I mean, I've never done drugs, you know. But here's the thing, dude. If you don't have a lot of issues, go do drugs, have fun, enjoy life. But if you're a guy who has addictive personality, you know, you watch too much porn, whatever you have to do, stay away from drugs, you guys. It's gonna fuck your life up.
Is that your problem? Too much porn?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're kidding me, I'm a man in the UFC. That's everyone's problem. You know, no, besides Sam Alvey, because I always like Sam, like, here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna give you some advice. You guys gotta jerk off. Like I don't know if you're having sex on the regular, but like, you gotta jerk off once or twice a day, man. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I mean, to me, my porn addiction and jerking off, it's nothing I want. I'm just trying to.
It's medical.
I'm trying to stay fucking angry, stay sharp, you know? Yeah. I'm also left-handed, so that's why my jab's so good.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean.
What's up, man?
So on Tuesday, you're most likely going to be ranked number 8.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Did you envision being a top 10 fighter?
I mean, no, I guess. It's cool. No, yeah, no. I never really think about it.
I noticed that you didn't really talk in the cage this fight. Was that just a respect thing?
I mean, Uriah's dangerous, man. He was a guy, he took a lot of focus, you know. With me and Jack, it was a boxing match. Uriah, he didn't do it, but Uriah has the potential to, like, you know, highlight you. So it was one of those things where it's like, I really didn't want to, you know, get distracted and fucking wake up with him standing over me. He would be here telling everybody how much of an asshole I am just because I don't watch anime, you know.
There was a couple times that it appeared that you had hurt him, but you shot him for a takedown. What was that about?
You know what? I mean, maybe cowardice on my part. Early in the first or second round, I would hit him. I seen blood. I mean, I just couldn't put him down. I hit him with a lot of hard shots. There was one point I hit him. I seen blood leak out, you know, and I couldn't put him down. So I was like, you know what? I'll just take the bitch way out and just, you know, take him down, get him tired, and maybe finish him towards the end.
And then I guess finally, just, you know, talk a little bit about your training camp, because you know, everybody at Syndicate, I mean, they just say that in training camp you're a savage.
You know, my home gym is Syndicate with John Wood. He's a man. I have a great camp, but I do most of my training there. But I cross train a lot at Extreme. You know, Eric, he's a good guy. He's helped me a lot. People understand that I'm such an asshole, and I end up breaking my training partners. So it's nice to have a lot of cool guys say, "Hey, listen, Sean, I know you're a dick. Come on, I'll let you be a dick for 1 or 2 days and get the fuck out," you know. But yeah, John Wood, Syndicate, they're the best, man. He's a man.
And then finally, I'd be remiss with asking that there's this dream matchup of you versus Kevin Holland, because you guys are both talkers in the cage. He's on a losing streak. You're on a 4-fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really somebody I'd want to fight just because, you know, you don't want to lose to a guy on a losing streak, right? You don't want to fuck up. No, I don't have really anything against Kevin Holland, but he probably should shut up and try to win a little bit more. I mean, you should, you know, talking works when you're winning, but when you're losing, bro, it's time to shut the fuck up and win some fights.
Congrats.
Okay, guys. Anybody else? Nope.
One last one, Sean. Because I missed it, or the post fight with, you know, the team, what was different between this Uriah and the one that you met years before his and you guys' client?
I mean, you know, you're like, I was 20, 21, I wasn't in the UFC. I would watch him, you know, I would watch him knock highlight guys on UFC. He'd be in the gym and he would knock guys out. I don't think there's anything different, you know. I think I was just better. Uriah's not a guy that I like to insult. He's a great guy. He came out there hard. He fought a war. But I think you know, I'm consistent. I train hard. I'm just better.
Did you want to show that? Because you dominated with the takedowns. Clinch, you were sharper, smarter, end game, dirty boxing, but you wanted to keep it at distance. Was that like just...
I know, it's like, I mean, I'm great on the ground. I mean, I could do a lot of stuff on the ground. I'm great at wrestling, but when you're a striker, it's like it's a very hard thing to shut off. It's like you're a striker. You really have to force yourself. Hey, Sean, stop being a fucking idiot. Win the fight. Come on now. You know.
All right. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Just want to say one thing. You remember the other day you said Uriah Hall knocks people out and then jerks off at home over it? He denied that. He says he doesn't.
Oh, get the fuck out. What did you ask him? What was the question?
I actually read the quote.
Did he? He was probably like, "Oh no, I don't do that." As he's like,
I actually think it kind of like broke him mentally for a second. He was like, interesting.
Yeah, it's because he fucking does. But hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. If you like to fucking hurt people, you're in the right sport, man. Like, I would love nothing more than to kill somebody in the ring. Nothing more. To make me super happy. I would own that shit, too. I don't know if it'd make me liable. I might have to say I'm sorry if the cops came, but I would own that shit. Own it, man. Be a psychopath. It's fucking fun.
See you later.
Mic drop. Mic drop, Jeff Cain in Vegas. Sean Strickland closing out the show and somehow is able to top his performance in the octagon in the press conference tonight. Unbelievable. I mean, you got to make sure you guys keep going back and watching this one. Sean Strickland putting on a show for the press, for all of us, with his performance, the unanimous decision over Uriah Hall, and then in the press room. I mean, just educational, entertaining, informative, all the above. Check, 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 check for Sean Strickland, because, guys, we didn't know we need to jerk off a couple times a day. So thank you, Sean, for that. Now we know.
That's the secret. That's where I've been fucking up, Jim, I guess.
There's the fountain of youth, man, right there. And it's only right here in your right hand, Jeff. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew that Sean Strickland was so entertaining, man? I mean, I've seen his interviews before, but I didn't. Derek Lewis needs to step his game up, Jim, or Sean Strickland's got to be the press conference king, man. That was absolutely crazy. Be a psycho. be a psycho.
Enjoy it. It's great.
He is in the right sport, man. I mean, he is in the right sport.
And he said the UFC doesn't want me to be champ, and I would like vehemently disagree that from what I just heard right there, the UFC would be very happy to have a guy like him with the belt around his waist, making headlines and, you know, selling the sport. We've seen it with Chael. We've seen it with Conor. We see it across the board with a lot of fighters. But, man, just really, yeah, be a psycho. Own it. A great performance by him. Probably going to be ranked number 8. He's not going to pass Darren Till, although the Instagram police might get Till first. If you saw that story and the stuff that he's been posting and being banned for, and the police are investigating Darren Till. So check that out if you're not sure what that story is. He posted something about transgenders and pregnancy on Instagram, which in today's day and age, you can't post anything about anyone who does not want you to post anything about their alternative lifestyle. You're not allowed to say these things. So he's in Instagram jail, but he's definitely alive and well in the UFC middleweight division. So I see Strickland moving up to number 8, but I could see him fighting a Hermanson. I probably wouldn't throw him in there with Jack because Jack's a grappler. I'd like to see him fight a Brunson. There's a lot of guys I'd like to see him fight, but he's going to have no shortage of big fights in his future if he keeps performing and talking like that.
No, yeah, he's gonna be ranked 8th more than likely, and he's gonna get somebody. He could even get a top 5 opponent in his next outing. I don't know what the UFC wants to do with him exactly. You know, he's on a nice 5-fight win streak. I think that the UFC wants him to do more interviews. You know, let that guy do a Q&A. Holy hell! And then put psychopaths like me and you in the audience to ask the right questions. And oh my god, that would be good. Yeah, an interesting cat, man. He doesn't even watch the sport. I mean, you know, he was just like, who's that guy that broke his leg?
I only know 2 guys in the top 10.
That's kind of refreshing.
I'm not really a fan.
Right? Yeah, I kind of like it. He's like,
oh
yeah,
my
I like
God.
Fighting. I don't like watching it. You know, like, I enjoyed that. That was good. You don't see that a lot. You just don't see that a lot. He's a guy who's like, yeah, whatever. I know a couple of guys in the division. I like to fight. I could care less if I'm ranked. I don't care about titles. I like money and jerking off. Kel, man, that's
you know, it's pretty good. Pretty good life if you can get it.
Boy, I mean, that's simplifying things too. Yeah, I find it hard not to like Sean Strickland right now. I'll be honest with you. I find it hard not to like him. I mean, I feel like I want to. because he is an asshole in the gym, it seems like. Beats the hell out of everybody, you know. But how the hell do you dislike that guy? I mean, even what he said about Uriah Hall, you know, that
You
he knew
can't.
him and he kind of looked up to him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I felt like I had to block him on Instagram, you know. I don't know. I like Sean Strickland. I want that guy to be a commentator. Jesus, man. I want to hear him commentate. Put him and Derek Lewis in the booth. Give Rogan and them the damn night off and just let it go where the hell it goes. Holy hell.
Oh, my God. Are you watching Triller? No more Pete Davidson handing joints to Al Bernstein and blowing smoke in his face. Unbelievable, though, by Strickland. And, Jeff, I want to say that that's the secondary reason to be a fan of Sean Strickland, because the way that he performed in the octagon tonight, the way that his fists and his feet and his takedowns spoke volumes, man. One of the people in the press room was right. He dominated him on the feet. He took him down and had his way with him on the ground. He dominated him in the clinch position against the cage. He says he broke his orbital bone, possibly. I mean, that was a complete and total dismantling from beginning to end of Uriah Hall, who is on a big-time win streak. He's fought huge names in the sport. He's dangerous, and like Sean said, he can make a highlight of you anytime. Strickland not only took that ability away from Uriah Hall, but he's poised, he stays in the pocket, he's fast, he's accurate, he just unbelievable. He set the record for head strikes by a middleweight in a fight tonight, the most in a 3-round fight.
And said it's because he doesn't have punching power. God, that's
great.
That's just crazy. Yeah, that is great.
I think Uriah Hall would probably beg to differ on that one right now. I'm sure Uriah's feeling that. But you know what else doesn't happen every day, Jeff? You talked about things that don't happen every day. How about a featherweight world title fight for $1 million at the end of a Grand Prix final? Patricio Pitbull and AJ McKee, I don't know where they are in that fight. I'm guessing round 1 is, if not underway, it's close to it. But the featherweight GOAT, as he likes to call himself, Patricio Pitbull, takes on the undefeated AJ McKee tonight. That's a hell of a fight in Bellator.
And things got pretty personal at the pre-fight press conference. You know,
oh yeah, they
walked
did.
Out. You know, McKee grabbed the belt, and I mean they had a pretty crazy exchange about talking about family. You know.
Well, his dad's his coach.
Yeah,
Antonio McKee's his coach, and he was right in the middle of all of it.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, Patricio said that he's going to beat him up in front of his dad. And then McKee fought, you know, shot back. I'm going to beat you up in front of your wife and kids. And then shit went kind of crazy, you know.
Tried to take the belt.
Yeah, tried to take the belt. I mean, look, it was entertaining. They sold a fight. But I didn't feel like that's what they were doing. You know, I felt like they don't like each other. I felt like it was a little out of character for Patricio to get so angry and leave, you know, the way that he did. But maybe not. I don't know. I mean, he definitely got pissed. AJ definitely got pissed. I wish I could see this fight right now, but I do not have Showtime out here, and I'm not going to order the subscription like you said. I'll catch it later on replay. Bellator will send out highlights and everything, or they'll post them on their YouTube page or whatever. Man, we'll see it. We'll see it.
We'll see it. April 22nd, 2010, he made his Bellator debut. Patricio Pitbull, you know, he's been around a long time. He's been dominating lately. He's 34 years of age, maybe coming out of the tail end of his prime. He has not lost at featherweight since Daniel Straus back in November of 2015 at Bellator 145, and that was losing the Bellator Featherweight World Championship. Then he lost and lost TKO by leg injury to Benson Henderson, a name UFC fans know really well, former champ. Benson Smooth Henderson beat Patricio Pitbull by TKO 160 in 2006, almost 5 years ago. Since then, he avenged the loss to Daniel Straus. He's beaten Michael Chandler by TKO, and that's the one that UFC fans will know the best. He's been on fire in that division, and he just beat Emmanuel Sanchez for the second time to get to this final. Darian Caldwell was taken out by neck crank by AJ McKee. And AJ McKee undefeated, Jeff, at 26 years of age. He's, without a doubt, I would say the future of that division in Bellator or wherever he fights. He's in the conversation. A golden opportunity for a young, undefeated fighter to take down a legend and win $1 million tonight.
Oh, yeah. Take a championship as well. A huge opportunity for McKee. But look, McKee's been in the sport, really. I mean, I know that he's 26 years old, but he was born into this sport, right? I mean, he's been a fighter his whole life. This is, and so while he is young in the game, he's not young in the game. This is a great matchup tonight. You know, I went with youth over experience and longevity. But look, these are two of the guys, you know, because we're talking about the UFC tonight, and this was a UFC show. These are definitely guys that can compete in the UFC. You know, I mean, whenever you look at all the organizations out there in the world, Patricio stands out above everybody else. I mean, he really does. And then, of course, you got Harrison in the PFL, but there's no real weight class for in the UFC. And then there's a couple other guys, AJ McKee, you know, Calderwood. There's some guys in Bellator that are absolutely good, world-class fighters. And tonight you got two of them in there with $1 million on the line. You know, this is a big fight. I think it's the biggest fight of the night. But that was a big fight in the middleweight division as well. And it was a huge moment for Sean Strickland.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, big for Sean.
Fight, man.
I don't either. I think they're just about to start. Pitbull did his walkout, and I'm following it on Twitter, which is where I get all my breaking news now. MMA Weekly on Twitter. Check it out, right? But it's just all the pre-fight hype. A lot of people picking Pitbull. I love Pitbull in this fight. I say third round TKO, but AJ McKee is a very good fighter, and I know you picked him, Jeff. Why do you pick McKee in this one?
I feel like I mean, just youth, and I feel like speed's going to be a factor, and he's a really well-rounded fighter, and I didn't like how Patricio got that angry, and I feel like maybe McKee's got under his skin, and I think the last thing Patricio wants to do with McKee particularly is to overextend or to do something like that out of character, and I think McKee will make him pay for it, especially on the ground. So I don't know. You know, it's hard to pick against Pitbull. You know, I mean, period. But McKee's undefeated. I like the way he matches up. I don't know that he's going to win. I picked him to win.
He's bigger. He's longer.
Yeah, I mean, he's the future. It's like you said. I mean, basically, my pick comes down almost to that. I mean, I think stylistically, yeah, we can go back and forth on where I think he could have success and where he doesn't. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is a passing of the torch moment. Now, whether it works out that way, I don't know. You know.
Yep, and he's a star. He's a star in the making. You see the hats, the glasses, the chain he was wearing. I mean, he's comfortable in the spotlight. He's coached by his dad. Got a lot of really cool story there with AJ McKee. But Pitbull on the walkout, man, he's an intense dude. I like him. You know, I know him, and I've met him and hung out with him before and done a bunch of interviews. Comes and trains at Fight Ready in Arizona a lot with Henry Cejudo, Captain Eric Albatacine, who's in his corner tonight. You know, the Pitbull brothers. And so they credit, Henry Cejudo gives them a lot of credit for his success training together, iron sharpening iron type thing, because they're great strikers and brilliant with jiu-jitsu, and he's a wrestler. So there's a lot of really good, you know, give and take and back and forth in that camp when Henry trains with the Pitbull brothers. But this might be, and people are putting this on Twitter, Jeff, big fight feel, huge fight feel, unusual for Bellator. Those are some of the things I'm reading, not what I'm saying, okay? But when I see that, big fight feel, biggest fight in Bellator history. Is this the biggest fight in Bellator? I mean, I know we got MVP and Lima 2 coming up. There have been a whole bunch of washed-up has-beens who have made huge fights happen in Bellator. But in terms of actually at the top of the sport, that level of competitor, Patricio trying to be the GOAT, McKee undefeated, is this the biggest fight in Bellator history?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, the Fedor fights are always huge, you know, but I'll say this. I think it's the most meaningful fight in Bellator history. Outside, man, I don't, because those Chandler, you know, during his 3 wins, his 3 title runs at the lightweight division, those were huge fights, man. Those are huge fights, so I don't want to downplay those. But I feel like these are 2 guys that everybody who covers the sport or follows the sport closely knows that it doesn't matter what organization they're in. These are world-class guys. These are guys that you should be watching no matter what the hell logos on the gloves. And so in that regard, I feel like this is the biggest legit fight in Bellator history, but I don't want to disrespect Michael Chandler and those guys who had epic wars, right? And Benson Henderson, whenever he first went over to Bellator, those were big fights. But yeah, I feel like these are the 2 best fighters to fight for the title in Bellator history. I'll say that.
Well, I mean, and Kimbo, and I mean the fights, but it is what it is. But as far as you said, the biggest legit fight in Bellator history, I like that. I actually really like that. It's got a really big fight feel out in California. Mike Beltran, the referee, big fight ref, and Pitbull getting booed by the crowd, which is pretty unusual.
That is unusual.
This Grand
Where's
Prix been on
from?
3 networks. It's been, they've literally been, by the way, on 3 networks. They've been on DAZN, Showtime. I forget the third one. They've been on 3 networks. McKee knocks out Pitbull and wins in the first round, and we dropped. Maybe the punch was so strong it dropped us. I haven't seen a highlight yet.
Sorry
but
about
AJ
that,
McKee,
guys.
Grand Prix winner and the champion at featherweight in Bellator, he defeats Patricio Pitbull in round number 1.
That's interesting. And we didn't even get to talk about that. I didn't get to go. I felt like Patricio didn't respect McKee, and I felt like that could be very dangerous for him heading into the fight. And honestly, Patricio fights everybody that way. He has no respect for your ass. He just takes the fight straight to you, and that's one of the beautiful things about him. But this one, I felt like that might happen.
Wow. Yeah, he did it, man. He did it. And it says he beat Patricio with his own move, made it look easy. I'm reading the tweets right now in real time. There's a ton of them. Didn't see that happening. Called it. Pitbull goes down. It's over. Waiting to see, because someone's going to throw a video up here of just the knockout shot. And that's all you really need to see. In just seconds, it said. In just seconds, he takes out Pitbull.
That sucks for Pitbull.
Head kick. It was a head kick, Jeff.
Oh, no, I would have never picked that. No, but I would have never picked it. No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, I'm trying to find it.
But I can't believe it was a damn head kick. Here.
Said he wasn't out on the head kick. McKee is a monster. McKee. Someone put a video up. Come on, please.
Let me see where
he sparked him. Wow. Big time win for McKee.
My stream does not have it.
No, and I didn't have time to sign up for Showtime's free trial.
Well, I'm just gonna click on the stream and see if I can't get a replay. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oh, it hasn't. I got it on the stream over here. We're not on air, are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Scott, we're on the air, right? Nope. I can't. I still haven't seen it. You found it, Jeff? Yeah, we are. We're here. We live.
Well, no, I haven't found it. I've been looking at streams, but I can't see anybody posting. Because somebody will post a highlight clip.
I have a still shot of it. I'm going to show you a still shot of the kick right here. Right there. Bang. That's the kick that did it. See that, Jeff?
Okay, I'm reading. Yeah, I'm reading a little comment.
Thank you, Twitter. Forum, that's by the way, that's someone's Twitter picture.
Yeah. See, that's what I have to keep doing. I keep going to Twitter, then I jump over to Reddit and see if somebody posted it. He lands a left high kick, is what this guy is writing him on Reddit, and then he hit him with a combination and uppercut that put him out after a head kick.
Wow.
But I don't know what time it is or anything like that.
If I find a video, I can't show that. I can show the picture, right, but not the
video.
No,
yeah, you can't show the video. I was just jumping over there because I don't have Showtime out here. I actually might have Showtime in the main house.
Because we're really going to hurt Bellator's brand by showing thousands of people who would otherwise not have seen it.
AJ McKee knocked him out with a left high kick followed up with punches. That's basically the story of that. It happened early in the first round. I still haven't seen the replay. Somebody will post it up, though. It always ends up like if you go to YouTube right now, here's a little FYI, people. If you go to YouTube right now, there will be people posting up the videos of tonight's fights. They will be taken down. They will be taken down relatively quickly, and they will get flagged for copyright, and some of them will even be banned. But there will be footage of those on YouTube momentarily. And like I said, even on Reddit, you might see it on Twitter, or even on someone's Instagram, might upload a video of their TV or whatever. They will come down, though.
They will come down, but how does it make you feel, Jeff, if you're a 26-year-old kid in the biggest fight of your life, belt and $1 million, and you win it like that? I mean, think about that. 26 years old, on top of the world. Now the question's going to become, who's the best 45er in the world? Will it be Brian Ortega? Will it be Alexander Volkanovski winning that fight? Max Holloway's still in the conversation, and AJ McKee's got to be there too.
Yeah, no, I agree that AJ McKee and then the bantamweight there in Bellator. Those are and also Patricio. You know, those are guys.
And the forum was packed.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm like, if I had to do a global ranking that doesn't include the organization, doesn't matter. McKee's on an 18-fight win streak. He just knocked out Patricio Pitbull. You know, he's got.
Yeah, you know who else is on an 18-fight win streak? Kamaru Usman and Khabib, who's retired. That's it in the whole entire sport. But I am noticing, Jeff, too, that a lot of our brethren, a lot of our media brethren are in Los Angeles instead of Vegas tonight. So I hope that the UFC realizes that and penalizes that. And hello, MMA Weekly, we have our priorities. We know where we're supposed to be. But I see a lot of our fellow media outlets are choosing to be at the forum for this fight, which is actually, that's a pretty big story, that that anybody would go to a Bellator event and cover it over a UFC event. That shows you how big this one was for Bellator.
Well, and it comes down to who Showtime and Bellator sponsors, you know, 100%. And you can go to the MMA websites right now and you'll see big banners, you know, so that's what it comes down to, you know.
They're spending money with them. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go where the money goes.
Oh, I just saw a video. I just saw a video, Jeff. It was a left head kick. He came in, swarmed him with punches, went for a standing guillotine, and then nope. Let's see. Did Pitbull tap?
No, I think he just got knocked.
Wait a minute.
It looked.
No. It seems to me, I believe Pitbull tapped from what I just saw in that video.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the video yet. I mean, all I
He hit with the left head kick. Yep, head kick right here, drilled him, hit him with a couple of big combos, pinned him up against the fence, and choked him out with a standing guillotine, Jones Machida style. That's what happened. That's awesome. Wow, what a performance. I mean, legitimately, what a performance.
Hell, he beat him twice. Damn.
Did you see it? Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't even searched for it, really. I just looked over there. I'll see it here. I'll see it tonight. There's no question that I'll see it. But yeah,
brilliant.
Hit him with a head kick and then hit him with a combination that dropped him and then choked him. God dang.
Yep, but Pitbull got right back up and then he hit him with a knee and choked him. So he hit him with that left, thought that might be a walk-off, pieced him up with a combo. Pitbull falls. He puts his arms up, Makita does, thinking like he won, and then he backed it up. Well, Pitbull didn't tap, but AJ McKee looked at Mike Beltran and said he's out. Beltran checked and Pitbull was out. So from what I could see, he didn't tap, but he took a big head kick, stunned him, swarmed with punches, falls down, pops right back up, and then gets caught in that standing guillotine. Also ate a knee right there for his trouble. So that's a brilliant sequence by McKee, though. When you guys see this, Jeff, you'll see it. When you guys see the highlights of that Bellator 263 main event, you're going to see about as high level a combo and as high level offense as you're going to see anywhere in this sport. What we just saw from AJ McKee. That was really impressive. Watch it. I did not know that's what happened, and I sat there and watched the video, and literally, man, that was incredible. What a win. What a performance. Unbelievable.
Okay, let me see here what I got. See, this the beautiful thing is we start asking for replays, and people start sending them. It's
asking you shall receive, Jeff Cain.
Yeah, okay, so what I have right here, I'm watching. Ooh, damn, that was a head kick and a half.
Yeah.
I can't
watch
believe
the combo.
That uppercut. Oh, he crumbled him. Oh, okay. Mine stopped. Okay, so mine stops when he raises his hand. So I need a different replay because that didn't end the fight. That wasn't the end of the fight. that was just after the uppercut, the combination, and then AJ McKee raises his hands like he won, but he did not win right there, as you pointed out. So let me click on another one. But yeah, what a performance by AJ, man. You talk about mixing it up. I mean, you go a head kick, and then you like you said, you piece him up with a little combination with an uppercut in the middle that drops him to the canvas, and then as he stands up, you slap on a guillotine choke. Woo, man, that's some high-level shit right there. AJ's legit, man. I mean, he's, like I said, for 26 years old, his dad's been in the sport, man. I mean, he grew up around the sport forever. He's not a 26-year-old in this game. He's a higher level than that. He's got, and so, yeah. I mean, I said it felt like a passing of the guard, and that's what happened right there. But see, here Patricio will probably get a rematch.
Yeah, you called it, Jeff.
He held the title for so long.
You called it.
Yeah, I mean, he held the title for so long, and he's such a legend,
called it,
especially in that organization. Hopefully, he gets an immediate rematch. But Bellator might throw him in another damn Grand Prix next year and make him fight to the to the title. I don't know what Bellator is going to do with it. But what a finish, Jim!
Antonio,
what a finish. So we had
his dad's his coach. I mean, what a story, right? He gets the $1 million, he gets the belt, puts on an all-time classic performance against a legend, and his dad's his coach in the. Think about that for a kid. I mean, there's nothing in the world that could top how he's feeling right now. Literally nothing.
No. I mean, everything's paid off, and he's unblemished. He's 26 years old. He's undefeated. Just got a big paycheck. He's got a new shiny belt, and he should get with Sean Strickland. Watch the replay. Oh my God, I can't believe I just went there. But yeah, that was beautiful, man. That was a flawless. Like when we talk about.
I just got that. I just got that. Like literally 10 minutes later. Good job, Jim. Keep up with Jeff's wit.
When we talk about these damn performances tonight, man, AJ McKee stood out above everybody tonight. Stood out because of who he did that to. Now, we had beautiful knockouts on the UFC main card. Beautiful knockouts. The head kick and then the straight left hand and then the female co-main event. I mean, that head kick in that fight was crazy. But to do that on somebody who's the level of Patricio Pitbull is crazy. I mean, he just walked out there and treated Patricio like he wasn't Patricio. That's nuts. I mean, I expected AJ to win, but I didn't expect him to do that, Jim. That was a perfect performance. I mean, hell, I don't know what to even say about that other than I don't know how you top that.
I think other than what?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think we can.
Yeah, I don't think we can. It's like the only way I guess I could top that is if you slept him with the head kick, but then we would have missed the uppercut and that beautiful guillotine. I mean, that was a perfect performance. AJ McKee had a career-defining moment tonight. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I agree. I'll go back now. Now that I saw this whole replay, Bellator definitely get on free TV because I need to see some more of that guy fight. I need to see some more of that guy fight.
But a big night for Bellator and you are.
And so I watch these fights. I don't want to act like I don't. I spend every Friday night watching the damn fights till like 3 and 4 in the morning, getting ready for the Saturday UFC event. Tonight, with them both going at the same time, I don't know. I didn't get to watch it. So now, after I get done with the UFC, I'm gonna have to sit down and watch that because I don't think Patricio drops anywhere from that. He's going to be the number one.
No, but he did go out from the choke, and a great night for the sport overall. Huge night for Bellator, without a doubt. The eyes of the world of the MMA world were on Bellator tonight, without a doubt. Yeah. And we have to see what the numbers look like. Showtime versus free TV with ESPN, but the UFC fighters delivered in a big spot too. What a night for the sport overall. Oh, yeah. What a great night for us to share this with you guys. Bagdasarian, Gooden, and Bays with back-to-back-to-back TKO KO wins. Sean Strickland dominates Uriah Hall. AJ McKee dethrones Pitbull and wins $1 million. Whenever anybody does anything outside of the UFC that generates that much press and that much news and that much excitement, the sport wins. I'm all for that. I'm all for the fighters. Jeff, your final thoughts on a great night in Vegas and a great night for the sport of mixed martial arts tonight.
Man, it was just a feel-good night, right? With the for those who tuned into the show and got to see the fighters talk after their fights, moving to America, uprooting and moving to Africa, back to Dallas, then gets to Vegas and has that opportunity and gets the life-changing $50,000 for the co-main event, Cheyenne. I say bias, but I know I'm wrong. It's what. So Jim, you can correct on that. It was just a feel-good night all the way around, for all of them. Then AJ McKee, a person who grew up in this sport, to realize that dream of being a world champion. It was just a feel-good night all the way around for me, and a good night for the sport, like he brought up. Yes, the UFC's the big dog out there, but tonight was probably Bellator might have shined brighter tonight.
The big win for the UFC and for Bellator. Jeff, great job by you always. Next week, we got the big pay-per-view, 265 with Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight championship. Pedro Munoz gets a golden opportunity against the legend Jose Aldo Jr. In the co-main event, Chiesa and Luque as well on that card. We will be live right here on MMA Weekly. Until then, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, like us, chat with us, hang out with us. We love you. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and keep watching YouTube and go to MMAWeekly.com for the best coverage in the business. Until next time, fight fans, Jim Grieshaber for Jeff Cain, for Scott Peterson, for our whole team at MMA Weekly, reminding you to keep your game tight and your mind right. This one's in the books. We are out.